It used to be common. Our newscasters had common sense. They gave it to you straight, just the facts, and real news. John Bachman is like them. He tells it like it is. Catch him every weekday on Newsmax 2.
Hi folks, we're back. If you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault and you don't have an attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions and tell you what your case is potentially worth. Pick up the phone, call now.
Hi, my name is Damian Clark. And if you have both Medicare and Medicaid, I have some really encouraging news that you'll definitely want to hear. Depending on the plans available in your area, you may be eligible to get extra benefits with the Humana Medicare Advantage Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan. Most plans include the Humana Healthy Options Allowance. Get $1,200 a year. That's $100 each month to help pay for eligible groceries, utilities, rent, and over-the-counter items like vitamins, pain relievers, first aid supplies, and more. The Healthy Options Allowance is loaded onto a prepaid card each month, and whatever you don't spend carries over from each month. You could pay nothing for covered prescriptions all year long, even name brand drugs. All plans have $0 copays for covered preventive dental services, which include 2 free cleanings a year, as well as fillings. They may also have vision coverage, including vision exams, and a yearly allowance towards eyewear, such as lenses or contacts. Even hearing coverage, which includes routine hearing exams and coverage towards hearing aids. You'll even have a $0 copay for routine vaccines and telehealth visits. Plus, your doctor, hospital, and pharmacy may already be part of our large Humana networks. So call the number on your screen now to speak with a licensed Humana sales agent. Wouldn't you love benefits like $1,200 a year to help pay for eligible groceries, utilities, rent, and over-the-counter items? So if you have Medicare and Medicaid, call the number on your screen now and speak with a licensed Humana sales agent. If you're eligible, they can even help enroll you over the phone in a Humana Medicare Advantage Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan. So call now. Humana.
Folks, the Dove TV is encouraging and informative. Join me for the John Ankerberg Show weekdays at 4 p.m. right here on the Dove.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the construction zone here at the Dove.
Yeah.
We have our hard hats on the table.
You ready for a visit from the president?
Well, I don't know. If he wants to come and walk on our roof, he can do it anytime.
Come on, we got our hard hats ready.
I got to turn my volume.
I love it.
Okay, anyway, good morning to you. Happy. You know, I don't know why I went to bed last night. I was struggling to know it was Wednesday.
Oh, you know what?
I thought it was Tuesday.
We've been yesterday. This week has been a weird week. I've been struggling with that too.
I thought.
I'm glad it's not just me.
Okay.
All right.
Is it a virus?
I don't know what it is, but it seems to be spreading.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
man.
Anyway, good morning. It is Thursday. It is the 7th of August, and it's a nice day in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
We have some clouds out there, and yet warming temperatures. That's the combination that could make some afternoon thunder bumpers.
It can, yeah.
So we'll tell you about that a little bit later on. A ton going on in the news. There always is. And we'll have some updates there. Anything special today?
Well, it is National Purple Heart Day. General George Washington created the Badge of Merit in 1782. Washington intended the honor to be presented to soldiers for any singularly meritorious actions. And while an accurate and complete list of names no longer exists, National Geographic recently estimated that nearly 1.9 million service members have earned the Purple Heart since its creation. And it was during World War II that what was that guy's name? Douglas MacArthur.
Oh,
he brought it back and basically applied this decoration for those who had been injured in battle. So the Purple Heart, our hats off to all recipients and all who served.
I've seen a Purple Heart medal, but I've never met a Purple Heart recipient.
Oh, okay.
Have you? I don't know if I have. I don't think I have.
I don't think I have either.
And you know, we're building a new Vietnam Memorial here in Southern Oregon?
Yeah, over by the big sports complex. X, yeah. I saw that the other day, and I didn't know what it was. I got to tell you, I didn't realize what it was. And I looked, and I said, You know, that looks a lot like the Vietnam War Memorial in Washington,
That's what it's going to
D.C.
be, and it's shaped just like the one in D.C.
Yes.
And, so anyway, it's under construction, and it's quite a deal. So that whole corner is just really blossoming, doing really well. Anyway, good morning to you. That's good stuff.
All right. Also,
What else,
guess what? It's National Sea Serpent Day. And who is the most famous sea serpent of them all? Probably.
the
Nessie.
Oh, yeah, Nessie.
Yeah, Loch Ness Monster.
Did they ever find him?
No. And you know what?
It's kind of like Bigfoot, right?
Yeah, sponsored by the Tourist Board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
come on and look for it. Yeah, bring your money. We have it here.
He's over there.
Yes. Hey, I saw a special the other night on Crater Lake. And in this special, I thought, who's selling this? They were implying that there was a Nessie in Crater Lake. I said, come on, you guys. You guys get enough tourist visitations. You don't need to build that thing up. I mean, they're driving through Shady Cove like crazy to get to Crater Lake.
It's, do you remember when they had the one-man submarine going to the bottom?
I remember, yes.
And I got to talk to the ranger that went in that thing.
Okay.
Because they hired this group, this company, to come in a one-man submarine and go to the bottom of the lake. And that's where they discovered all the hot springs coming up.
Oh, okay.
So it's the highest elevation natural lake in the world.
Yeah.
And it is a beautiful thing. If you've never come to Oregon,
It's our deepest lake.
it's our deepest lake.
Yeah.
It's the highest lake. What you don't want to do, you don't need to go up to the blue area of Oregon. Come right here to the southern area of Oregon and enjoy Crater Lake.
There you go.
It's
All right.
beautiful.
Yeah,
you know what's neat about it?
What?
You don't see it until you crest the mountain.
You know what? And
That's what's so cool about it.
Absolutely. In fact, that has been a danger in days gone by when especially when settlers came in and they didn't realize it was there.
Yeah.
You know, people would walk up and go, whoa.
Yeah, you don't see it. So by the time you pay your $422 to get through the gate, and it says you're at Crater Lake, you have another 8 miles to go.
And I got to tell you, one of the most spectacular views there is in the wintertime, and they offer snowshoe tours.
Yeah.
And you go up there, and they put you in snowshoes, and a park ranger will take you out on a tour, and you're out walking in deep snow around the rim, and you're looking at the lake. It is fantastic.
It's stunning.
It is. All right. Also, speaking of tourist attractions, it's National Lighthouse Day. And of course, we have some spectacular ones along the Oregon coast, and one in particular, don't we? And your friend photographed it.
Charles Stanley.
Yes. Yes.
He came to Oregon, and he was quite the photographer. That was his hobby, and he photographed the lighthouses up and down the West Coast, but the one in Oregon, down in our area, he really just did some beautiful pictures of it.
And I love them. They're great. Also, have we mentioned that it's raspberry season? We've had raspberry everything this month to celebrate raspberry season. We have another. It's National Raspberries and Cream Day.
Really?
Enjoy fresh berries and cream because it is National Raspberries and Cream Day with raspberry season obviously in full swing. What better way to celebrate than with this simple but delicious treat? And, you know, cream is fine, but ice cream is better.
Well, yeah, I do.
Especially homemade.
Do you put cream, just raw cream on anything these days?
No, not anymore.
Okay.
When we were a kid.
What about half and half?
You know, I don't even think we have half and half in there. You know, when I was a kid, and I don't know if this is Norwegian or just farm or what it was, we used to do something, and my brother loves this, called cream and bread.
Oh.
You put cream over a slice of bread and then sprinkle sugar on it.
Okay, well, we call that milk toast.
Oh, okay.
So you'd make the piece of toast,
all right,
and you put it in cream or milk,
all right,
and you put a bunch of sugar on it, and that was breakfast.
Okay, yes, I love it.
When my dad was cooking, we got stuff like that.
Isn't that funny how we ate differently with our dads than our moms?
Oh, boy.
And my kids said, amen. Yeah.
Have you ever had a banana and mayonnaise sandwich with peanut butter?
I have no. I've had peanut butter and banana sandwich, but not with
Well, my dad would do peanut butter, banana, and mayonnaise.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
How is that?
Well, you know, you're young and dumb and hungry.
Moving on.
Okay.
Now, this next item has spurred quite a conversation this morning in the control room about what we do in these situations. But did you know, let's look at the video.
Yeah.
Did you know that the average person will spend 6 months of their life waiting for the red light to turn green?
You got to be kidding.
I am not kidding you.
6 months.
6 months.
That's mental health.
And it says this, according that is mental health. And then look at that person went right through the red light. And that's what we were talking about this morning. Okay. How long do you wait before you say, okay, this is not working if nobody else is going through that intersection? Now, according to a 2016 UK study, the most common activity while waiting at a red light is adjusting the stereo, 59%. More than a third of people adjust their air conditioner, 38%, and a similar number eat a snack while waiting at the red light.
Women do their hair.
I have seen makeup application at intersections. I have seen it.
Yeah.
And but you know, but that is kind of an astounding number when you think about it. 6 months of your life sitting at a red light. And I got to tell you the truth. I don't know if you're anything like me, but those are not always calm moments.
No, especially if it's early in the morning and there's absolutely nobody
there.
What do you do?
Just drive, and you know what the
and
worst?
you know that cop's sitting over there
Sitting there
somewhere.
waiting for me.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right. But why is it that you come to an intersection at dark 30, nobody's coming the other way, it's green until you approach, and then the yellow comes on and it's too far for you, because we know that yellow means step on it, right?
Yeah, go like crazy to beat the red.
Go like crazy. But you're too far to even do that, too far away, so you have to stop. And you're sitting there, and now you're grinding your teeth, and you're thinking, why did this even change?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so enjoy your 6 months at the red light. And, you know, there are constructive things that we could do. Pray.
Pray.
Meditate on the Lord.
Meditate.
You'll find a verse for your day and meditate on that. And that makes it constructive.
Then it turns and somebody's behind you beeping.
And then you turn and say, Jesus loves you. I'm still deciding.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, don't forget now, a little driving tip. If there is a bike lane,
Oh, gosh, yeah.
and they're all over the place
Yes,
now.
they are.
And I'm trying to figure out, are people really riding bikes that much? I mean, they actually put bike lanes in between car lanes now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, and you got to see the green, where to pass, and all that. But if there's a bike lane on the right side of you,
Yeah.
and you cut in the bike lane to turn right, they'll ticket you.
Yep.
You have to go around that bike lane. But if you
Yep.
turn in the bike lane, you deserve a ticket.
Right.
So
Yep.
just remember that.
So that means you're turning right too early.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're in a hurry and you ran the red light. Or you're running a red light.
Yeah. No, I keep my eye out for the bike lanes. You got to be careful. All right.
All right. Well, here's a guy that just has no patience.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Building high pressure will bring warm and dry conditions, so today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny skies with daytime highs in the mid-70s for Vancouver and Portland, and upper 70s in Wilsonville and McMinnville. Continuing down the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny with daytime high temperatures near 79 for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis. Cloudy in Eugene, then gradual clearing with a high near 81. Into central Oregon, becoming sunny with a high in the upper 70s for Prineville. Mostly sunny with highs in the mid-70s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, sunny with a high in the mid-80s. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog, then mostly sunny and breezy in low 70s in Coos Bay. Mostly sunny and breezy from Port Orford with a high near 66, through Brookings near 57, and Crescent City, California near 67. In southern Oregon, mostly sunny for the Rogue Valley with daytime high temperatures in the upper 80s for Grants Pass and Medford, and mid-80s in Ashland. Sunny in the Klamath Basin with highs in the low to mid-80s. Into northern California, sunny with highs in the mid to upper 80s around Wairika. Sunny and hot from Redding with a high near 99, through Chico near 97, and Sacramento near 96 with a light southwest wind. In the Bay Area, becoming sunny with daytime highs near 87 in Santa Rosa and 83 in Napa. Mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high in the low 70s and a southwest wind gusting up to 22 miles per hour. And today in San Jose, sunny and near 85. A snapshot of your Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
Good morning to you. There's a little bit of a picture of what's going on out there this morning, and we have some clouds over. It's actually very refreshing.
Yeah.
That reminds me, guys, I forgot to close the door in there. the big door. I had it open, let some fresh air in.
Yeah, I noticed that this morning. We got progress out there, too.
You know, we have so many parts sitting on the floor. That's where we have our hard
I
hats.
noticed.
We have all kinds of parts sitting on the floor out there. The hard construction is somewhat completed. I'm talking, sheetrock and boards and things.
You know what it kind of looks like? It's like somebody spilled out their erector set and didn't put it away.
Well, we're building the lighting grid, and Dan and the two young bucks in there are building this lighting grid. And you know what? We really got very talented people here because what we are saving by building it ourselves versus what it costs to buy one off the shelf, not to mention tariffs.
Yeah, oh, sure.
You know.
Especially today.
So they have this software where they can go in and they can create all this stuff,
You know what else they have? Young backs.
Oh, boy.
You are a wise manager.
Boy. Yeah. So anyway, they're laying it out on the floor, and then the next couple of days, here goes the heavy lifting. We got to take it all the way to the ceiling and then attach it up there.
How does that work?
Carefully. two lifts, and then all these lights you see here in the studio, they get hung from that.
Oh,
so it's an erector set. There's no question about it.
So when we move over, are we actually going to have lights on this and stuff? Are we going to have any downtime through this transition?
Okay. All right. Let me just say this, folks. All right, because you need to be ready. We will be moving this morning show set into a construction zone.
Well, I'm glad you have the hard hats out. Yeah.
And it's the only way we can do it because we're switching control rooms, and we have to temporarily move these cameras in there in order to set up the new switcher, which, thank you, folks, you helped us purchase. And we can't do it in two different rooms. And yet, the new set won't be ready.
Right.
So, a friend of mine has an airplane. And I asked him, I said, would you mind bringing the airplane in, parking it in there, and we'll use that as a backdrop? What do you think?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
I don't know if he's going to do it or not. We'll see.
All right. Well, let's move on to some encouragement, and boy, do we have the right person for it. Here is Ann Graham Lotz.
And then he prayed with clarity. In verse 19, O Lord, listen, O Lord, forgive, O Lord, hear and act for your sake, O my God. Bottom line, for the glory of God's name. He wasn't just praying because he was tired of being a slave in Babylon. And actually, he was so old, he would never go back to Jerusalem. He would never be able to participate in the answer to his prayer. Never be restored, never see the temple again, never go to this, have a sacrifice. And so he was just praying not for his own convenience, comfort, what he wanted for himself. He was, God, for the glory of your name, set your people free so when you take them back to Jerusalem, the temple is rebuilt and we're worshiping you and we're back in a right relationship with you, the whole world will know our God is God. We want you to be glorified. And when we pray for revival, what is our bottom line desire? Is it just we want to add members to our church? Is it just we want the thrill of the spiritual activity that sometimes accompanies revival? Or is it that we want to be right with God ourselves and for other people to see that we're right with God and for us to make Jesus so attractive to them? They want to know him and they come to know him and our lives are changed and their lives are changed and it's all for the glory of God and people recognize him for who he is. I long for our nation and our world to see Jesus in his glory and his power and his majesty and looking at them with eyes of love. Nail prints in his hands and feet where he gave everything to redeem them and bring them into a right relationship with himself and his Father. That they would see he's exactly who he said he is. Exactly who we've been saying he is.
She makes a very good point. We all want revival, but do we really want it for the right reasons?
Oh. Yeah.
Do we want it because we just want to feel good? Or are we ready for revival where people that we would never talk to would come to Christ?
Yeah.
She makes a great point. Thank you, Ann Graham Lotz. All right, let's take a look at some of the top stories this morning. And, of course, yesterday afternoon, over there at Fort Stewart in Georgia, something really happened that was kind of crazy. One of their own, one of the military people there, went on a shooting spree and injured quite a few people. Fortunately, nobody has died. But Brigadier General John Lupas, he's the commanding general there at the 3rd Infantry Division at Fort Stewart in Georgia, gives a summary of what happened yesterday.
This morning, shortly before 11 o'clock, an active duty soldier assigned to Fort Stewart, Georgia, shot and wounded 5 of his fellow soldiers here on Fort Stewart. Thankfully, all are in stable condition and all are expected to recover. The alleged shooter is in custody. We have reestablished security. I have lifted all lockdown measures on Fort Stewart, and there is currently no threat to the local community. I'd like to recognize and thank our Army law enforcement and medical personnel and our partners from local, state, and federal law enforcement and emergency services for their quick response and support. I would also like to thank the brave soldiers who immediately intervened and subdued the shooter. These soldiers, without a doubt, prevented further casualties. Our wounded soldiers were initially evacuated to Wynn Army Community Hospital right here on Fort Stewart. All arrived in stable condition, and 3 of the 5 required surgical intervention. 2 have been transported to Memorial Hospital in Savannah, Georgia for additional care. We have identified the alleged shooter as Sergeant Cornelius Radford, an automated logistics sergeant assigned to 2nd Brigade Combat Team. Sergeant Radford has not previously deployed to combat. Sergeant Radford has been interviewed by the Army Criminal Investigation Division and is currently in pretrial confinement, awaiting a charging decision by the Office of the Special Trial Counsel. Right now, our primary focus is first on caring for our injured soldiers and their families, and also supporting the soldiers of the Spartan Brigade. All of the families of the victims have been notified, and we're wrapping our arms around them and ensuring we provide them all the support that we can.
All right. We still don't know what the motive is.
No, not at all.
No. So
he was a sergeant, and it was in his own company, I think, that this happened.
Yeah, something is strange here.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. Thank God nobody was killed.
Right.
So anyway, that was the big story late yesterday afternoon. The other story that is breaking is that President Trump now, apparently through the previous meetings of Steve Witkoff, who has met with Putin in Moscow, has now opened the door for President Trump and President Putin to meet next week. And President Trump's pretty excited about this. In other words, he thinks everything is working to maybe bring this war to an end between Russia and Ukraine. I don't know where this goes, but President Trump did something yesterday that puts a lot of pressure on President Putin.
What's that?
He is going to increase tariffs on companies that buy oil from Russia.
I did hear that.
And that is like the ultimate economic squeeze.
Yep.
And so when your country is the #1 marketplace, you can play hardball, and that's what he's doing. So apparently, he'll be going to Moscow.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because a lot of people are calling for an end to this conflict. Yet there are a lot of people buying Russian oil that are in effect funding the war,
and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
All right, the other story that's kind of interesting, the story that won't go away. Adam Schiff now is under criminal investigation for possible mortgage fraud. This is more than a bad headline. It is real. Now, I want to say this, God, I have to put my biases here. Just forgive me, okay? I hope he comes to Jesus. I really do. But how do I be respectful here?
Yeah.
He's just not a good person.
Right.
And he's as slippery as a bar of soap in the shower.
Oh, he had the evidence of Russian collusion. He guaranteed it. He promised to show us over, and he just made the rounds on all the legacy news talk shows and never produced anything.
Not only that, but why he wasn't brought up on perjury. Well, we know why, because it was during the Biden administration.
Right.
Well, in the meantime, apparently Senator Schiff has allegedly falsified bank documents and property records to obtain more favorable loan terms on multiple occasions, said the FHFA director. And he said that Schiff and his wife purchased a home in Potomac, Maryland. For $870,000, they secured a Fannie Mae-backed mortgage for $610,000 under the conditions of the home would be their primary residence. Despite the certification that Adam Schiff continue to represent California in Congress and claim homeowners exemption for a separate property in Burbank, California.
Yep.
How can you have permanent residence in Maryland when you are a representative from California and then falsify your bank records?
Yeah.
This is not going away.
No, and of course it's
And guess what?
What?
Trump's team didn't find this.
Right.
When I get to this, FHFA director found it and brought it to the DOJ.
Don't get confused, because you know how legacy media is going to portray this.
Oh, yeah.
Retribution on the part of the Trump administration.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But you
Don't get
can't.
confused, yeah.
Yeah, okay, but that's all they got.
Right, yeah.
But when you start looking at the records, and apparently this went on for, what's the period of time here? This went on for several years.
Yeah.
So how do you declare Maryland as your permanent resident in order to get a bank loan when you are an elected representative from California?
Well, you do the dance, and he's been doing it.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of
Ron Wyden? I was wondering if you were going to bring him up.
I don't know where his residence is in
New
Oregon.
York. His
Well, he lives in New York, but I don't
yeah.
know where his residence is.
In Oregon?
Yeah.
Is he claiming anything here?
Well, do you remember the late Wes Cooley?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I lost my first election to him.
Okay. All right.
Because he moved a mobile home to the corner of a piece of property, literally in the district, and claimed it to be his residence in order to run until he got caught. But by that time, he'd already been elected. Okay. Can you trust people that are that slimy?
Oh, no. And these are public servants? Come on.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I better retain my
Yes, be
control.
careful. Yes.
We'll be right back.
All right.
Grange Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Welcome home to the Dove, a trusted friend, enriching your faith with inspiring content that will change your life forever.
Welcome home to the Dove TV, radio, and the Dove.us.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why at Kelly's, it's automotive service with a heart for God and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond, but that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
All right, welcome back. Happy Thursday. I can't believe it. I still was operating yesterday was Tuesday. And
Been there, done that. Yeah.
I don't know if that is a sign of something.
It's your sign.
Anyway, happy Tuesday. Some interesting regional news. One of Jerry Bilden's favorite football players.
The guy I quit wearing Nikes over.
Colin Kaepernick is going to be working with Portland Public Schools.
Oh, how?
Okay, so he came walking out on the stage for a gathering that they had in Portland educators to elect officials and Portland educators, elected officials, and students. Was surprised in a little meeting that they had, and here came Colin Kaepernick, and he walks out on the stage. Well, who is he? Of course, he's former 49 football player, but now he's the CEO of Lumai Story AI. Okay, and what it is, it's an artificial intelligence company launched with the intent, as explained on its website, to help creators in the ever-changing digital landscape maintain creativity, control, and stability, especially diverse creators. So he's here to introduce educators and students to his company that will do a lot of work for you. Now, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
I want to say this. Maybe I could be totally wrong.
Okay.
What does athletics have to do with developing a AI company?
Not a thing.
So is he being
yes
bought and sold
of course.
as a personality?
Yeah, together we rise. Yeah.
Okay, so he is now the new. He's going to be the person teaching students about artificial intelligence and how it can work for them. Okay? Now, I had an amazing artificial intelligence discussion yesterday.
Okay.
And most people will tell you who are intellectually honest.
Okay, yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Right.
And it's pretty stupid at the same time.
At the same time.
And unless you know what you are doing, you could easily be misled.
Absolutely. In fact, I read a story, speaking of AI, where these new AI bots will now listen in and record your conversations like in a meeting or a phone call. And if you want notes of that meeting, this bot will now listen in and it'll write verbatim everything that is discussed in your meeting.
Guess what?
What?
It'll do it in your voice.
And but the trouble is it doesn't know the nuances of our tones, when we're sarcastic, when we're being genuine in it, and it can write down with the wrong, it's kind of like sometimes doing a voice text. Have you ever read back, putting away some of the misspellings aside or the wrong words, it just doesn't get the same flavor as what you get, as what you're intending.
Well, that's the issue. It'll do some marvelous things, but you got to know what you're doing to the point whether or not it's genuine or not.
And you know what?
And you got to be really careful.
What came to my attention this morning was during when I was checking the story out, that a lot of young people are going to AI and like ChatGPT and stuff like that for advice and companionship.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're going to AI for companionship. That just should ring alarms to all parents.
Well, remember this, the number one emotion problem in America today is loneliness. We're highly connected. Well, apparently this thing is going to be working with public schools, Portland public schools, in the classroom during this upcoming year by piloting a AI literacy platform for students to be interactive with. And apparently he's going to be the front personality person to get them to do this.
Oh, wow.
Now, remember what he's known for.
Yeah, taking a knee and being disrespectful to our country.
So CRT back in the classroom?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, the other story is kind of interesting. United Airlines yesterday grounded a bunch of flights, and it impacted stuff right here in our little old backyard.
Yeah.
United Airlines had a technical meltdown and grounded all mainline flights across the country yesterday. Due to a widespread technology problem that they had with their communication system. And a lot of flights were, departure flights were held. Hundreds of flights were canceled. And here in our own backyard, flights coming in from San Francisco and Denver were delayed pretty long. So United, you know who, another airline had this shut down. Delta had this a little bit too. What's going on?
Yeah, what is going on?
Well, they have their own inter-office, inter-company technology system. If you look on the back of most of these planes, you'll see a hump. See right there, and see that little hump on the top of that plane?
Yeah.
That's all their satellite technology. And
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and they can talk to the company people.
All right.
So,
wow.
Anyway, if you were stuck in United Airlines yesterday, that's why. I don't know if they gave you a meal ticket or not. All right, take a look at the satellite image. Here's what's going on. And we are moving to severe clear, but we have some high clouds out there with some warming temperatures. That could go the other way. We'll see.
A little cloudy today in mid-80s, but starting to climb as we move towards the weekend into the low 90s tomorrow, but triple digits by the weekend.
Yeah,
so,
hold on to your...
Yeah, get ready to water all your plants and animals.
Go swimming with the dogs.
Well, yes. Well, here is someone that, well, we do miss her, but we still get to listen to her occasionally as she is on Fox. And she is Liz Peek, and she was on Fox Business with Stuart Varney. And she spoke about the real problem facing Democrats in the polls.
They have yet to reckon with the fact that most of their policies, and particularly the policies on the far left, are unpopular with most voters. They don't work. Voters know that. And I think going back to Chuck Todd's thing, it isn't just the closeness of the loss that has been problematic for Democrats. It's also their failing to own up to the fact people haven't been happy with what they've been doing in office. Kamala Harris ran on a platform basically exactly like Joe Biden's: open borders, opposition to fossil fuels. And we just heard from your guest how important energy is going to be. You know, boys and girls locker rooms, all kinds of policies that Americans really, really dislike. So until they own up to that, and they haven't yet, Kamala Harris says, well, she had too little time to run. She blames misogyny. She blames race, all kinds of things, instead of what they were running on. Stuart, they were running on a platform of raising taxes by $4 trillion on the American economy by letting the 2017 tax cuts expire. What kind of idiocy is that? Americans have never wanted higher taxes, and they didn't last November. So I think they just have yet to acknowledge that they're in the wrong place.
Bingo.
How about that?
Okay, what's our food today? Do we have anything?
What do we have today?
Oh, raspberry cream.
Oh, yeah, we're continuing with raspberry season. Yeah.
Let's go back to root beer float. We'll be right back.
If you feel lost, he's a way maker. If you need freedom, save it. He's a prison shaker.
Since 1987, Four Seasons Nursery has been the gold standard in the green industry here in Southern Oregon. Tim Elbert and his friendly staff continue to offer the best plants and most accurate knowledge to create your dream landscape. At Four Seasons Nursery on Crater Lake Avenue, you can let your imagination run wild with a huge selection of all things plant and gardening for both inside and outside beautification. Whether it's a flower for your window seal, one of our beautifully renowned signature hanging baskets, or a complete landscape design for your entire property, Four Seasons Nursery can help you every step of the way with design services, workshops, and more. Let your imagination run wild as you immerse yourself in their nursery filled with beauty that knows no bounds. Four Seasons Nursery, 5736 Crater Lake Avenue, 5736 Crater Lake Avenue, 1/2 mile north of Vilas Road, 541-779-5603, 541-779-5603.
Go where the wild runs deep. At Hellgate Jetboat Excursions, you feel the power of the mighty Rogue River as you take in the sights and sounds of nature, journey through Hellgate Canyon, and adventure through the breathtaking wilderness. Enjoy brunch or dinner on the open-air deck of the exclusive Hellgate River Lodge, and end your adventure with our exciting jetboat spins. It's a memory in the making with family and friends. Book your adventure at Hellgate.com. Hellgate Jetboat Excursions, where adventure runs wild.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? When you want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life, call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back. 24 before the hour is we moving down the road here. Let's check in with CBN News Watch as the big issue now is Gaza being taken over by Israel.
This is CBN News Watch.
We're going to begin this half hour in Israel, where the Security Cabinet meets today to determine the next phase of the war against Hamas, including taking over Gaza. The decision, they say, could have profound consequences. As Chris Mitchell reports now from Jerusalem, it will affect the future of Gaza and the fate of the hostages.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is convening the Security Cabinet Thursday to strategize how to achieve the final goals of the war, the complete defeat of Hamas, and freeing the remaining hostages. The campaign may include 5 IDF divisions. It could last 5 months and involve a relocation of up to 1 million Gazans. Jonathan Conricus of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies tells CBN News Israel stands at a crossroads.
I would say that it's money time. It's either do or die. It's either we bow to international pressure and lose the war, and the direct result of October 7 massacre will be that Hamas gets recognition for a Palestinian state, which will be a total catastrophe and failure, and I pray that that is not what will happen.
This morning, U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee announced the administration's plans to fund a dozen or more new aid distribution centers in Gaza. This, as the German publication Bild exposed that many photos of starving Gazans have been staged, a report cited by Israeli President Isaac Herzog.
We see a PR campaign like this one. This is from yesterday by German media. You see a photographer staging Gaza people to show that they are lacking food, whilst there's food there behind them. But this is a staging effort.
I saw the report by Bild, and I wasn't surprised. I've seen this for 15, 20 years of Gazan or otherwise Palestinian photographers, some of them working for reputable news agencies like Reuters, AFP, AP, and many others. They doctor images, they orchestrate them, and the term Gaza wood or Pallywood wasn't invented this war. It's something that has been going on for decades, if not more than a generation. The Palestinians are really masterful at not only fabricating visuals and imagery, but also knowing who to peddle it to and to find the useful and lazy idiots in international media to use it and then to shape hearts and minds and even get real-world results.
Gaza wood or Pollywood refers to how Hamas and others stage scenes to manipulate the media.
Sadly, Hamas is manipulating international media. Really, they have them around their little finger, feeding them, baked stories and cooked images.
Currently, we also have now this campaign called Starvation in Gaza. How would you describe the way the media has reported on this campaign?
Well, they've certainly tried to prove this point of view that they have, and it's not true. There is food in Gaza. You can go into a market right now, you can go to a cafe, you can buy food. Israel's made sure that there's more food in Gaza than there was before the October 7th attacks. Israel has given an unprecedented amount of food and aid to an enemy population in the history of mankind on this earth. And yet the media has proceeded with this campaign. In doing so, they've emboldened Hamas, they've emboldened terrorism around the world, and they've unfortunately prolonged this war that could have ended by now.
And Chris Mitchell joins us now with more from Jerusalem. So, Chris, it sounds like this could be a key turning point for Israel in its war against Hamas. How does the Israeli government see it?
Well, I think they do say it's really at a crossroads. Either they're going to capitulate, as Conricus points out, to international pressure, or they're going to keep going despite that pressure. The support of the United States will be key going forward, the most powerful ally in the world, to fight what Conricus is describing as a just war after October 7th. Yesterday, Ephraim, I visited Kfar Aza. That was the scene of one of the worst attacks on the kibbutzim on the Gaza border, and also the site of the Nova Music festival. That's where more than 300, nearly 400 people were slaughtered in a massacre. And that's a stark reminder of why Israel is fighting this war, to eradicate their military infrastructure of Hamas so it won't threaten Israel ever again. And since they've discovered when the war began, really the terror base of Gaza was the biggest terror base in the world, with hundreds of miles of tunnels, thousands of rockets and weapons.
Well. It's coming to a big head. We'll see. All right, good morning to you. We woke up with a pretty good cloud cover over the top of us, but it's going away. So let's check in with the guy that never goes away.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Building high pressure will bring warm and dry conditions, so today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny skies with daytime highs in the mid-70s for Vancouver and Portland, and upper 70s in Wilsonville and McMinnville. Continuing down the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny with daytime high temperatures near 79 for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis. Cloudy in Eugene, then gradual clearing with a high near 81. Into central Oregon, becoming sunny with a high in the upper 70s for Prineville. Mostly sunny with highs in the mid-70s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, sunny with a high in the mid-80s. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog, then mostly sunny and breezy in low 70s in Coos Bay. Mostly sunny and breezy from Port Orford with a high near 66, through Brookings near 57, and Crescent City, California near 67. In southern Oregon, mostly sunny for the Rogue Valley with daytime high temperatures in the upper 80s for Grants Pass and Medford, and mid-80s in Ashland. Sunny in the Klamath Basin with highs in the low to mid-80s. Into northern California, sunny with highs in the mid to upper 80s around Wairika. Sunny and hot from Redding with a high near 99, through Chico near 97, and Sacramento near 96 with a light southwest wind. In the Bay Area, becoming sunny with daytime highs near 87 in Santa Rosa and 83 in Napa. Mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high in the low 70s and a southwest wind gusting up to 22 miles per hour. And today in San Jose, sunny and near 85. A snapshot of your Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
Beautiful shot of southern Oregon. That's at the south end of the valley this morning. So a little cloud, but it's slowly giving way to clear skies.
All right. Well, she was named the Woman Motorist of the Century by AAA. And her first most noteworthy automotive achievement happened on this day in history. On August 7th, 1909, a 22-year-old homemaker named Alice Ramsey made history, becoming the first woman to drive coast to coast across the United States. With 3 female companions, none of whom could drive, Ramsey left New York in a green Maxwell 30 touring car and arrived in San Francisco 59 days later. The journey covered 3,800 miles with barely any paved roads, no maps, and almost no road signs. The women mostly navigated by following the telephone poles with the most wires in hopes they would lead to a town. They dodged horses, fixed dozens of tire blowouts, and even crossed rivers without bridges, proving that grit and curiosity could go a long, long way. At a time when few women even held driver's licenses, Ramsey's trip shattered expectations and paved the way, literally and figuratively, for generations of female motorists and adventurers. She would go on to drive the route more than 30 times, but in 1909, she was just a young woman with a big idea and the guts to go for it. There was like 12 miles of paved roads at that time. Yeah, she went 3,800 miles pretty much in the dirt.
So she was the first woman driver?
First woman driver to cross the United States. Have you driven cross country before?
No, I have never done that.
I've done it 3 times.
You have?
Yep, 3 times. Once all by myself.
Really?
Yeah, and it's quite a journey.
Well, how long did it take you?
The fastest I made it was the one I did, well, each time, basically 3 days, 1,000 miles a day. 1,000 miles a day.
Okay, so was Pam at one end? And you did that one in 2 days?
That opens up a whole new can of worms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is one of the great shows we have is Cliff Connectly. He goes on the camps, as you know.
Yes.
And he shares an example of how God watches over us through life.
Mark and Susan had been married a few years when suddenly she began to lose her eyesight, and she got really depressed and sank into a deep slough of despond. But Mark said, listen, honey, I'm going to stick with you, and I'm going to help you learn how to do your job blind. And so they worked hard at it. He went with her to the office every day, showed her how to do her job as a blind woman, and then he would leave for his work at an army base. Well, one day he turned to her and said, Susan, I'm sorry, but I'm getting to work too late. You're going to have to go to a job on your own. And she was freaked out. There's no way I can ride the bus, walk the streets, go up the stairs, go into the office building, go upstairs and sit at my desk and do this on my own. And he said, no, honey, I'm going to stay with you. I'm going to teach you. And so they did it for a couple of weeks. And then eventually he said, okay, I think you know it well enough. I've got to go to work at an earlier hour. So Monday came, she got on the bus, walked the block, walked up the stairs, seamless. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it went beautifully. Friday, as she's getting on the bus driver says, you know, you're a really lucky woman. And she says, stop it, I'm a blind woman. He said, well, yes, ma'am, but every day this week that you've gotten off the bus, there's a man standing on the street corner in a military uniform, and he never takes his eyes off of you. And when you walk down the sidewalk, he's watching you carefully like a hawk. You cross the street at the right time, he's watching you like a hawk. You go up the stairs, you open the door, you go in, and as soon as that door closes, he stands ramrod tall, gives you a salute, blows you a kiss, and then turns to go away. And all of a sudden, Susan understood, that's my husband. He's been watching me tirelessly for all this time. I'm not alone. He's watching me. And that's exactly what God does for us in even a more profound way. And then he calls us to do that with each other, to really protect each other, to focus in on each other, to listen to each other, to build each other up, to encourage each other. And that's how marriage goes beautifully.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, beautiful story.
Wow.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Welcome to Rise Direct Primary Care. Imagine a healthcare experience where you're known by name, cared for like family, and treated with compassion. How is that possible? With an affordable, flat monthly membership, you receive unlimited primary care and minor urgent care visits. No insurance needed. At Rise Direct Primary Care, we offer a friendly, affordable healthcare experience where you get a whole hour with your provider. Located in Central Medford and accessible by phone or text, we can typically get you in the same or next day. We prescribe urgent care medications directly from our office, saving you a trip and wait time at the pharmacy when you'd rather be at home getting better. Personalized medical care with a human touch. Rise Direct Primary Care is all about healing the sick with compassion and keeping the healthy healthy. Rise Direct Primary Care. We're here for you. Visit risehealthdpc.com or call or text us 541-827-8603. 541-827-8603.
Looking for the perfect RV adventure?
Team Toner's got you covered from homes to homes on wheels.
Discover unbeatable deals only at American RV in Southern Oregon.
All right, good morning to you. 10 minutes before the hour. Sometimes we have to go back to go forward. And so let's go back to about 1983. President Ronald Reagan had spoke to a bunch of religious leaders about protecting the rights of the handicapped and the unborn.
Finally, let me just say a few words about another part of freedom that is under siege, the sanctity of human life. Either the law protects human beings or it doesn't. When we're dealing with a handicapped child, say a mentally retarded baby girl who needs medical care to survive, is she not entitled to to the protection of the law? Will she be denied her chance for love and life because someone decides she's too weak to warrant our help? Or because someone has taken it upon themselves to decide the quality of her life doesn't justify keeping her alive? Is that not God's decision to make? And isn't it our duty to serve even the least of these, for in so doing, we serve Him? Our administration has tried to make sure the handicapped receive the respect of the law for the dignity of their lives. And the same holds true, I believe deeply, for the unborn. It may not help me in some polls to say this publicly, but until and unless it can be proven that the unborn child is not a living human being, and I don't think it can be proven, then we must protect the right of the unborn to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Boy, that was a mouthful. Man.
Yeah, good stuff all the way around.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, well, you know, there are a lot of fundraisers and some very interesting ones these days, but this is one of the most unusual I have ever seen.
YouTuber Ryan Trahan just raised $11.5 million for St. Jude Children's Hospital, and he did it by traveling across America in one of the most unique fundraisers ever. Over 50 days, he visited 50 states, staying in the coolest Airbnb he could find, from a treehouse and a cave to a castle, a barn, a missile silo, even a giant potato. Each day brought a new adventure and a new video watched by millions. His wife joined him, cakes were eaten to mark every million raised, and 42,000 people donated, along with major sponsors like Airbnb, T-Mobile, and Mr. Beast. The journey ended on a private villa in Hawaii, but the top pick? The Treetopia Treehouse in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. It's a strange kind of fundraiser, but proof that today's technology can turn creativity, community, and clicks into something powerful.
It's nice to see something good going on the internet.
So how did he raise the money?
Oh, he got.
Did he go there and ask for it?
Yeah. Well, he said, you put it on social media, and you get all your followers.
Yeah.
Say we're doing this, and then you give them an avenue where they can donate, and so you go from one place to the other, and your followers are following you and say, this is cool, I'll give you $5, I'll give you $50, and $11.5 million to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Cool. That is very cool.
But did I hear you say he did 50 states in 50 days?
Yep.
So he went to a state every day?
Every day. Every day. And
boy, that's planning.
Yeah, that is. Well, he brought his wife along. You got to have somebody who can plan. That's how I do it. We're getting ready to go someplace, and I say, okay, honey, where are we going?
Thank you, Pam. Thank you. Thank you that he made it here this morning.
Yes, indeed.
And that he's fully dressed.
Yeah. It's true.
Oh, true.
Oh, man.
All right, good stuff. Well, I got some great guests coming up. Tyler Gray will be back with us, former Delta Force operator. So we'll be talking to him. Christina Bobb, attorney and the author of Defiant Inside the Mar-a-Lago Raid.
Oh, I want to hear that.
Well, what's interesting about that, they raided him for supposedly classified information.
Right.
Okay.
Like Joe had by the Corvette.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
They never proved that it was illegal.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And now they find classified documents and burn bags inside the DOJ.
Yeah, right.
Or the FBI.
Right.
So it's kind of like somebody said, is that a haunted mansion? You just got these secret rooms where this stuff is stored?
Yeah, and let me ask you this. That raid on Mar-a-Lago, was that the impetus for Trump 2.0? I think it made his wife very angry, and I think it made them both very determined to run again, to go back.
Well, it could have been, I don't know, but I will say this, it was the ultimate violation.
Oh, it was huge. Yeah.
And no president has ever had that happen to him.
Right.
And this shows you the weaponization of the FBI and the DOJ at the time. And so I reading about Kash Patel last night, and the poor guy, he's just everywhere he turns, he's getting his head beat in, trying to clean the mess up. It's pretty bad. All right, 1 John chapter 1, verse 9, if we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us of our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. But it starts with you. It's called confession. It works. It brings healing.
Don't live life in fear. Forgive and forget, but don't forget.
At Rogue Hearing in Phoenix, we help you hear life again, clearly and comfortably. From expert hearing tests to custom aids and more, the team at Rogue Hearing delivers care you can trust. Rogue Hearing in Phoenix at the shops at Exit 24. Personalized hearing care right here at home.
Big ideas grow.
Put your gold in an envelope, mail it. Hopefully you get a check. No. Father and son jewelry, bring your gold in, we weigh it, we check it, we make you the offer.
Or turn you something old into something new. Whether it's an idea, a picture, or a piece you want to duplicate, we can melt it down and make it for you.
If you find your perfect piece in store, trade your something old for something new, and you always get a little extra.
Visit Father and Son Jewelry, 5 generations of family in Medford.
Chris Silva understands your home and your commercial buildings are two of the largest investments most people make in a lifetime. One is for your family, the other is to support your family financially. That is why Chris Silva Painting goes the extra mile to protect both homes and commercial buildings with proper painting preparation and high-quality primers and paints. Serving Southern Oregon since 2006, this family-owned and operated business has painted over 1,000 homes. Chris Silva Painting offers an industry-leading 5-year warranty that covers materials and labor on all painting projects work for both residential and commercial buildings, both interior and exterior painting. Chris and his crew are courteous, they are efficient, organized, timely, and clean. Chris Silva Painting also offers military discounts. At Chris Silva Painting, our mission statement is to bring Christ's heart and principles to our customers and our job sites. We do that with honesty, integrity, and hard work. We don't cut corners, we paint them. CCB number 176097. Chris Silva Painting, 541-890-3960.
Welcome home to the Dove, an encouraging place, an informative place, a safe network for your entire family.
Welcome home.
The Dove's mission is to be a beacon of truth, providing authentic faith-based content from a who's who of respected Christian teachers.
Welcome home to the Dove TV, radio, and the Dove.us.
Encouraging and informative. The Dove TV. More at theDove.us.
The Dove TV,
encouraging and informative.
With mornings on the Dove. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove, and it really is Thursday morning.
It is, whether you believe it or not.
Felt like Tuesday all day yesterday. I don't know why, I just had that in my head.
Yeah.
Welcome to We're Walking on the Rope. We have our hard hats here in case.
Just in case someone wants to show up and go up on the roof.
Yeah. We are in the middle of a construction zone, so we'll see how this all goes. But it won't be long, folks, that this, where we are sitting, will get temporarily moved. And we have no idea what it's going to look like, but it'll be a temporary before we get into the new. So it's heading our way. But the president the other day actually was walking on the roof of the White House inspecting a construction project up there.
Right, and answering questions to reporters like this.
Yeah.
It was great.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
All right, good morning to you. A lot going on in the news. There always is. The weather, well, we have some clouds out there that are slowly giving away to more and more sunshine. And as we head towards the weekend, we will see triple digits in our own backyard this weekend, so get ready for that. In the meantime, what's going on?
Well, it is National Purple Heart Day. General George Washington created the Badge of Merit in 1782. It initially was intended to honor and presented to soldiers for any singularly meritorious action. And it was changed a little bit during World War II under Douglas MacArthur for injuries incurred while serving our country, and there have been 1.9 million service members who have earned a Purple Heart since its creation.
How many?
1.9 million. Now remember, it was created in 1782. So, but our hats off to all who have been awarded the Purple Heart and to all who have served. Mm-hmm. Also, National Sea Serpent Day makes you think of what is the most famous sea serpent of them all.
Here, Nessie, Nessie.
Here, Nessie, that's right, Loch Ness Monster. I started reading, there are a bunch of other of these supposed sea serpents in other locations, and I think all of them are sponsored by the Tourist Board.
Oh, they have to be. Kind of like Bigfoot in the Pacific
exactly
Northwest.
Right.
He's over there.
That's right. Yeah.
There's a guy over here in Medford that took the image. You know, you see these images of Bigfoot, he's kind of like this going.
Yes, yes.
Well, he cut them out in metal, and he painted them all different colors.
Oh, wow.
And he got them out in his yard.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey,
I thought, I gotta go over there and buy one of those.
We need to get video of this, because I see it like at least once a week. There's a guy that puts on a Bigfoot suit, and he starts above Shady Cove on Highway 62, and he's got one of these stand-up bikes, you know, where you pedal like this, like you're walking or running, and he'll put an American flag on it. He's in a full suit, and he rides from above Shady Cove down through, I've seen him in White City before, and as he's going, people are honking at him all the time, and he's doing this.
And his Bigfoot out?
And his Bigfoot out. And he does it all the time. There are pictures of him on social media. I need to get it.
Get some.
Okay.
Do you see him?
Yeah, I've seen him many times. I wave at him. He does this back to him. I honk at him.
All right, let's get him.
All the time. So anyway, enjoy that. It is also.
Does he stink? I mean, could we bring him in here?
You know what? That is a great question. I wondered. So funny you asked that, because it'll be hot outside, and he's in that suit, man, and he's riding.
Yeah.
So, but you know what I never see him do? He's always riding down from Shady Cove. He's never riding up.
Well, maybe he gets a ride up.
Yeah, well, he gets towed back up.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, he knows which way to go. It's also National Lighthouse Day. We have some really nice ones along the Oregon coast. Do they still use them?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't know either, especially with GPS these days. Do you need lighthouses?
Well, you know, you're only good as the satellite. And if the satellite flickers, you're in trouble.
You know, that's a great point, because how often do we say, hey, my internet's down, this isn't working. Wouldn't it be nice to have a light blinking there so I could see it?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Well, the late Charles Stanley came to Oregon, and his hobby was photography. Yeah. And he went up and down the Oregon coast. He actually came through the Rogue Valley. And anyway, he did some beautiful pictures.
Did he publish it?
Yes.
We need that book.
Well,
do you have the book?
He published them in calendars. We have them around somewhere.
Okay, I want to look at it. Yeah. All right. Hey, by the way, did you realize that it's raspberry season? We have celebrated raspberries, I mean, seems like every other day, and we're going to do it again today.
Okay.
Because it is National Raspberries and Cream Day.
All right.
Yep, and raspberries and cream, that's a good idea, but raspberries and ice cream might be a better idea.
Yeah. Raspberries and yogurt would be okay.
So let's do that.
All right.
All right, this is a dilemma, and it has created a lot of conversation in the control room this morning about what happens, but did you realize that the average person will spend 6 months of your life waiting for the red light to turn green at an intersection? 6 months.
No.
Yes, according to a UK study, the most common activity while waiting at a red light is adjusting the stereo. More than a third of people adjust the air conditioner, and a similar number eat a snack, 36%, but there's a glaring omission from this
list. It's doing hair, your nails, and makeup.
Yeah, and what else? Your cell phone.
Oh, you saw
who's on their phone?
Yeah.
Who's looking at text? Because I think I see that a lot at intersections. People head down at their screen, either answering a text or talking on the phone or whatever. And then you have the dilemma. Okay, you're coming to work at dark 30. You're one of the only guys on the road, period. And you're coming to the intersection, and all of a sudden it turns yellow and then red, and there's nobody coming the other way through the intersection.
So, have you?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It depends on if I'm late or not, but yeah, I admit
now,
I have.
I think we had a very nice person in the control room was tempted with that this morning. But I think she obeyed the law.
She did, apparently.
Did you obey the law, Alice? She's nodding her head.
Yeah.
But I don't think she wanted. Here's the problem.
Okay.
She didn't want to obey the law.
Yeah, right.
But she obeyed the law.
You know, how does that work in the sin department? I don't want to, but I do.
It's called obedience is better than sacrifice.
Okay.
Scripture says that. So,
well, here's the deal. Enjoy your 6 months at the red light. Because you got it.
Can we redeem that?
Oh, yeah, I wonder.
Lord, just give me another 6 months of life. Because I had to spend 6
months of that. Right, and that can't be a good 6 months.
No.
No.
Not in this world.
Absolutely not. Anyway, enjoy.
All right. Well, here's a guy
Thursday.
that's been just stuck at a red light for a long time.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Building high pressure will bring warm and dry conditions, so today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny skies with daytime highs in the mid-70s for Vancouver and Portland and upper 70s in Wilsonville and McMinnville. Continuing down the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny with daytime high temperatures near 79 for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis. Cloudy in Eugene, then gradual clearing with a high near 81. Into central Oregon, becoming sunny with a high in the upper 70s for Prineville. Mostly sunny with highs in the mid-70s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, sunny with a high in the mid-80s. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog, then mostly sunny and breezy in low 70s in Coos Bay. Mostly sunny and breezy from Port Orford with a high near 66, through Brookings near 57, and Crescent City, California near 67. In southern Oregon, mostly sunny for the Rogue Valley with daytime high temperatures in the upper 80s for Grants Pass and Medford and mid-80s in Ashland. Sunny in the Klamath Basin with highs in the low to mid-80s. Into northern California, sunny with highs in the mid to upper 80s around Wairika. Sunny and hot from Redding with a high near 99, through Chico near 97, and Sacramento near 96 with a light southwest wind. In the Bay Area, becoming sunny with daytime highs near 87 in Santa Rosa and 83 in Napa. Mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high in the low 70s and a southwest wind gusting up to 22 miles per hour. And today in San Jose, sunny and near 85. A snapshot of your Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, and a beautiful shot of our valley there this morning as more and more of those clouds are slowly giving way to sunshine.
Yeah, we're clearing out there.
Yeah, but it's still out there. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful
Slowly warming up as we move towards the weekend.
All right.
But time for a bit of encouragement, and who better than Ann Graham Lotz?
Wrong thing. And God is in charge. You know that? He's seated on a throne up in heaven. He knows exactly what's going on planet Earth, what's going on in our nation, what's going on in your life, what's going on in your church, what's going on in this institution. He knows. And sometimes he moves in judgments, just cleans house. And he always does the right thing. So he is righteous. But let me give you the flip side of that, because Daniel says in verse 9, the Lord our God is merciful and forgiving. So he was confident in God's goodness. So just as God is righteous and just, he is also merciful, forgiving, and good. And we see this at the cross, don't we? When our sin was so infinitely evil that it provoked the righteous wrath of God. And the cross shows us for all time that God will not tolerate sin. And just because everybody's doing it and seeming to get away with it doesn't mean that they won't be held accountable, because the cross tells us that there will be an accountability for sin. There will be judgment for sin. But at the same time, we see the righteousness of God at the cross. We see the goodness of God because God steps in and takes the judgment for you and for me. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Wow.
She's so passionate.
Oh, boy.
Good stuff. All right, good morning to you. 11 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look at the top stories. And late yesterday afternoon, unfortunately, really a bad scene there at the 3rd Infantry Division at Fort Stewart in Georgia, where one of their own, a sergeant on the base, opened up fire. Quite a few people were injured. Fortunately, nobody was killed. So here's a report from the Brigadier General John Lubas, who is there in charge of that, and gives us an update.
This morning, shortly before 11 o'clock, an active duty soldier assigned to Fort Stewart, Georgia, shot and wounded 5 of his fellow soldiers here on Fort Stewart. Thankfully, all are in stable condition and all are expected to recover. The alleged shooter is in custody. We have reestablished security. I have lifted all lockdown measures on Fort Stewart, and there is currently no threat to the local community. I'd like to recognize and thank our Army law enforcement and medical personnel and our partners from local, state, and federal law enforcement and emergency services for their quick response and support. I would also like to thank the brave soldiers who immediately intervened and subdued the shooter. These soldiers, without a doubt, prevented further casualties. Our wounded soldiers were initially evacuated to Wynn Army Community Hospital right here on Fort Stewart. All arrived in stable condition, and 3 of the 5 required surgical intervention. 2 have been transported to Memorial Hospital in Savannah, Georgia for additional care. We have identified the alleged shooter as Sergeant Cornelius Radford, an automated logistics sergeant assigned to 2nd Brigade Combat Team. Sergeant Radford has not previously deployed to combat. Sergeant Radford has been interviewed by the Army Criminal Investigation Division and is currently in pretrial confinement, awaiting a charging decision by the Office of the Special Trial Counsel. Right now, our primary focus is first on caring for our injured soldiers and their families, and also supporting the soldiers of the Spartan Brigade. All of the families of the victims have been notified, and we're wrapping our arms around them and ensuring we provide them all the support that we can.
Okay, a little bit of intel there. He was not previously involved in combat.
Right, yeah.
So I think what he's saying there, that it's not a result of that.
Yeah.
PTSD or something like that.
Right, good point.
Okay, the other story is it looks like President Trump and President Putin will be meeting. Apparently, the agreement is slowly coming together as President Trump's envoy over there with Steve Witkoff has met with Putin in Moscow, and they have agreed to get together, and it could happen as early as next week. So we'll see how this goes. The president is pretty optimistic about this and thinks that this is going to be the open door. The president, in the meantime, has put unbelievable pressure on Putin in a very interesting way. He is raising the tariffs on countries that buy oil from Putin.
Right, yeah.
That's an economic threat.
Boy, I'll say.
So can something be worked out? Okay, we will soon find out. Yeah. The other story is, it's just so interesting. It came back up yesterday. It was only in the headlines for about 34 seconds.
Really?
And then got buried again.
Okay.
And that is Senator from California, Adam Schiff, as you know, was in the House. Now he's a senator from California. Apparently, the FHFA, basically is, Fannie Mae mortgage company and all that, is filing a charge against him, criminal investigation, and possible mortgage fraud. And apparently the DOJ and the FBI is looking into this, but the referral that Senator Schiff allegedly falsified bank documents and property records to obtain a more favorable loan term in multiple occasions, not just one. So there's a pattern here. And the letter states that Senator Schiff and his wife purchased a home in Potomac, Maryland for $870,000 and secured a Fannie Mae backed mortgage for $610,000 under the conditions that the home would be their primary residence. Despite this certification, Schiff continues to represent California in Congress and has claimed homeowner exemption for a separate property in Burbank, California. How can you have a permanent residence in Maryland when you're an elected official from California?
Interesting.
So apparently, now think about this. This isn't inside the Trump administration going after him. This is the FHFA organization filing a complaint of mortgage fraud.
Of course, though, this will be reported as at the behest of the president.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's just, look, there's a lot of snakes in the grass out
Oh,
there.
boy, and you got the biggest one. Yeah.
Well, I got to be respectful here, but there's two people that I think really need to be heavily investigated. He's one of them, and the other one's Fauci. That's my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of people that, well, you take Russia collusion, you got all that stuff going on. But there's two people out there that really, in my opinion, need to be brought into the microscope and looked at. And Senator Schiff is one of them, and Dr. Fauci is the other one. But anyway, so it looks like the home mortgage people are filed a complaint and said that he's now under investigation into possible mortgage fraud.
Whoa.
How do you get out of this?
Well, I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
And what's the consequence?
I don't know.
Is this a misdemeanor? Is this a...
I don't know. They tried to prosecute Donald Trump for this, remember?
Yeah, and then you have the gal in...
Letitia James has got a similar problem, doesn't
New York.
she? Yes. She fudged on a few things on her documents in her loan applications. So, yeah, it's interesting to see how this will play out because they're the ones that have been throwing the mud.
Yeah. I do hope something happens in America. This sounds like I'm for retribution.
Okay.
I'm not.
You just want justice.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think that somewhere in our thinking, we got to get cynicism out of our thinking.
Yeah.
Well, they'll never be charged.
Right.
We're basically validating the fact that they can commit a crime and they're above consequences.
Right.
Okay? That stop sign out there is for everybody.
Yes.
Even if you read the
That
red light.
is for everybody.
And if you run the red light and you get a ticket, you deserve it.
That's right. Absolutely.
Okay? So
yes.
I think on a bigger scale, when the law is broken, there has to be consequences. We got to get this out of our mind that it's politics is right versus left and Democrats and Republicans and all. No. The law is the law. If we don't reestablish the credibility and the respect of law, then we are lawless.
Right.
And at that point, we have nothing.
And you know what? That's the argument of legal immigrants into this country, saying, wait a minute, we followed the law. Can't everybody else?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when we come back, I don't think Jerry will take a knee on this, but we'll talk about it when we come back.
Magnify no other name. Open up my eyes to you. Take it all away. Magnify.
Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian owned and operated, pet friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
the adventure with Hellgate Jet Boat Excursions. Discover your wild side in the heart of the Pacific Northwest with Hellgate's high-speed spins, stunning Rogue River scenery, and incredible wildlife sightings. It's an experience like no other. Plus, you can enjoy brunch or dinner on the open-air deck of the exclusive Hellgate River Lodge, a place where families connect, friends unite, and the river brings it all to life. Visit Hellgate.com to book your adventure. Hellgate Jet Boat Excursions, where adventure runs wild.
Good Thursday morning to you. Welcome back to Mornings on the Dove. About 21 minutes now past the top of the hour. We've been talking about one of the biggest attractions in the Rogue Valley, and it's our own Sasquatch. Turns out we're not the only ones that have sighted him. Here is some video of our own Sasquatch on his stand-up bike. I guess he's got his own Facebook page. Thank you. Kathy also sent me some photos.
Sasquatch wearing a helmet?
Yeah, he's got a bike helmet on, down at the river getting a drink of water, and then back on his stand-up bike and riding back in. Now, I don't know how that Sasquatch smells because he rides a lot, but quite a sight. And Kathy mentioned that he's even been seen all the way down in Jacksonville.
Really?
So that's a big ride.
And now, wait a minute. I think I see something on there.
What?
Let's see here. Let's go back to the bike here in a minute.
Okay.
Now he's down at the creek.
Yeah, the flag?
Okay, no. Well, the flag's one thing. Do you know what the flag says?
What?
I don't know.
I don't either. I thought at first it was a Trump flag.
I think that's an electric bike. He's got a battery pack.
No, he's pedaling. Look. No,
I know he's pedaling.
Yeah, no, and look at it. He's pedaling hard. He's not. Look at. There's no motor.
See, isn't that a thing in the middle there?
I don't know. Okay, that's the next question.
Okay.
Is Sasquatch electrified or not? Huh? Come on, man.
Does he go home and stick his finger in the wall socket? Good stuff all the way around. All right, some other news for us. Looks like the education department in Oregon is going to take a little bit of a surprise. During the middle of a meeting, educators and others, of all people that comes out on the stage is Colin Kaepernick, the ex-49 football player who's now the CEO of Lumi Story AI, which is an artificial intelligence company launched last year with the intent, as explained on its website, to help creators in the ever-changing digital landscape maintain creativity, control, stability, and especially diverse creators. I have no idea what all that means. Okay, but apparently he is now CEO of this thing. Well, guess what? The Portland School District is going to be partnering with them in the classroom during this upcoming year by piloting an AI literacy platform, as the first reported by the Oregon Department of Education. So he's going to go into Oregon schools and teach something about AI, about creativity and all that stuff. I have no idea what all that means. I haven't got the foggiest idea. and the only thing is, when did he go from football to AI?
Well, he went from football because he got cut, by the way.
Yeah.
And then he was a second-string quarterback when he took a knee.
Yeah.
I think he was just tired. But but he did it during the national anthem, unfortunately. So my only question is, I'm looking at his shoes. You know, he's wearing a suit with a T-shirt underneath it, but he's got white, like, athletic shoes on. And I'm trying to see what the emblem on the side is because they look like Adidas, but he's under a multi-million-dollar Nike deal. He's one of the only non-athletes on a Nike deal right now.
Not paid out?
I don't know. In fact, when I have a second here, I'm going to find out if he's still on contract with Nike. And that, I honestly, when Nike gave him a huge contract for nothing, it's like Barack Obama getting the Nobel Peace Prize for nothing. That's when I quit buying Nikes. I thought, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Nike has stuck their foot in it on many occasions.
Right.
Pardon the pun.
And now they're involved in transgender studies, and they won't divulge how deep.
I don't know.
The whole thing smells.
You kind of wonder why Phil Knight doesn't.
I don't know. Is he out of the operations management portion? Is he just like on the sidelines now?
I don't know. But the only thing I say is Nike has stuck a foot in things.
And they've been a great company through the years.
Yeah.
So,
well, anyway, Kaepernick could be in the classroom close to you.
Homeschool your kids.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry.
If you were flying United yesterday, you probably had a problem. They shut down most of their air travel yesterday in the United States because of a technical problem just within the corporate communication systems of United. It did impact even people coming into Medford yesterday. Flights from San Francisco and Denver were delayed, so they weren't letting flights depart. And some of them got canceled, so it was a little messy yesterday. But apparently they got that figured out, and then you have to catch up. I figured out what happens with these things.
What?
They stop and start over. They don't. Very few now will they continue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because of the cost factor. But anyway, if you were flying United, it wasn't very united yesterday.
Oh.
They had an ununited problem. So, all right, let's take a look at Wall Street for this. Hey, it's Thursday. Better than it's Friday. I know I'm stuck in the wrong day here.
Oh, well.
Good morning to you. Thank you, Preston at Smartlon. He's the smart guy. Anyway, the Dow's up 166 points. The Nasdaq jumped up 223.5. And the S&P's up 38, almost 39. So that could all be on the wake of maybe some diplomatic contact with Russia. We'll see. In the meantime, let's take a look at gold's back up to 34.58. Silver, hey, pushing back towards 39. It's at 38.62. And crude oil's up a few pennies, but it's at $66.17 a barrel.
All right. Well, the Russian collusion hoax. It's still alive, isn't it?
Oh, gosh, it's just got a million things going on with it.
Where did it come from?
Well, if you really want to know where it all started, I'll tell you where it all started.
Okay.
It started with Benghazi.
Oh, and was there a Clinton involved in that?
Yes.
Okay, well, hang on, because Liz Peek is here, and she discusses Hillary Clinton's role in the Russian collusion hoax with Fox Business's Stuart Varney.
What price is she paying? She is paying with basically her political capital, her reputation, etc., just completely being destroyed. I don't think there's an American at large who thinks that Hillary Clinton is an honest and decent person. Imagine being her. That's what I was trying to imagine being in Hillary's shoes, watching all of this unspool for a decade, Stuart. All the dirty tricks that began with her campaign commissioning the Christopher Steele dossier, which led to a special prosecutor, tens of millions of dollars of taxpayer money wasted, an entire 4 years basically scuttled that could have been so incredibly productive. And by the way, re-electing Donald Trump, because I think you can connect the dots there. Voters basically understood that the left had been so opposed to everything Donald Trump wanted to do that they cost the country an enormous amount. So Hillary Clinton, it's astonishing to me that anyone is still in her camp. I can't understand it because she's not just corrupt and dishonest. She has hurt America. And I think that's pretty reprehensible.
Okay, but think about what really triggered this. The handling in Benghazi when she was Secretary of State was so bad, she did everything to cover it up. Okay, and they all blamed it on the video.
You're right.
Okay, and her numbers started to go down, and she had her eye on the presidency. And here comes Donald Trump wanting to run for president, and she saw him as the ultimate threat. That triggered it. Remember when Comey went there and said, well, there's no there, and anybody that had a brain would never press charges on her erasing emails.
Absolutely.
That started the whole thing.
That's the big thing, too. She had an email issue, so she had more than one problem going on.
She did. And she knew that if she didn't have the deep state on her side, that would have blown up and so she had to go after Trump. And then, of course, it was her idea that came up with the idea. Let's create a Russia collusion problem, and from there, the dossier and all this stuff started. It just shows you how corrupt high up in our government is. I remember a prayer lady that I had in my life. She's in heaven now. And when I first thought about running for Congress. And I kept calling her and I said, should I do this? She was like, she's just a closet prayer warrior in my life. And she said, Perry, I don't have the word of the Lord for you on that. I don't have a no. and I'm probably going to get a yes, but I think what you need to know, it is so corrupt that you won't make it. You won't last in it.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Okay.
That's insightful.
I was young and dumb. That just went right over my head. Now look.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm a little tired of raspberry.
I know you are, but a little ice cream never hurt. You want a root beer float, don't you?
Well, we can just settle with ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some still in our freezer over there.
Okay.
If Dan Chase doesn't find it, we had like 4 containers.
I know.
I think we're down to 1.5. We'll be right back.
When you see broken beyond repair, I see healing beyond belief. When you see too far gone, I see one step away.
At Rogue Hearing in Phoenix, we help you hear life again, clearly and comfortably. From expert hearing tests to custom aids and more, the team at Rogue Hearing delivers care you can trust. Rogue Hearing in Phoenix at the shops at Exit 24. Personalized hearing care right here at home.
The right cleaning company matters. Choose Dust Plus Cleaning and Carpet Care, a family-owned company proudly serving Grants Pass and nearby communities for over 25 years. We're passionate about delivering the best, whether it's carpets, using purified water for no window spots, or carefully washing solar panels. We're committed to superb customer service from start to finish. Radiant spaces from local professionals. Request a free quote today.
Black Flag Armory offers top brand affordable rifles, shotguns, handguns, and gear. We also offer an array of classes emphasizing safety, self-defense, and accuracy. We strive to provide the absolute best possible experience when buying a firearm. Family friendly for every skill level, Black Flag Armory in Medford and Grants Pass. Online at blackflagarms.com or 541-499-0779. 541-499-0779. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
All right, good morning to you. Happy Thursday. God, I am so glad it's Thursday.
I'm so glad this affected you, too. I've been going through that this week.
I actually, you know what?
What?
It scared me last night.
Did it?
Yeah, I thought, am I losing it? I'm thinking.
No, you're not.
And I was trying to figure out people. You just got, it was a foggy moment, And then I looked at my watch. It has that, the day and the time.
It reminds you, doesn't it? Yes.
And I go,
Yeah.
I have no idea where Wednesday went.
I know.
Oh, well. So much for that. Let's go to CBN News Watch and get caught up what's happening in Gaza.
This is CBN News Watch.
We're going to begin this half hour in Israel, where the Security Cabinet meets today to determine the next phase of the war against Hamas, including taking over Gaza. The decision, they say, could have profound consequences. As Chris Mitchell reports now from Jerusalem, it will affect the future of Gaza and the fate of the hostages.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is convening the Security Cabinet Thursday to strategize how to achieve the final goals of the war, the complete defeat of Hamas, and freeing the remaining hostages. The campaign may include 5 IDF divisions. It could last 5 months and involve a relocation of up to 1 million Gazans. Jonathan Conricus of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies tells CBN News Israel stands at a crossroads.
I would say that it's money time. It's either do or die. It's either we bow to international pressure and lose the war, and the direct result of October 7 massacre will be that Hamas gets recognition for a Palestinian state, which will be a total catastrophe and failure. And I pray that that is not what will happen.
This morning, U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee announced the administration's plans to fund a dozen or more new aid distribution centers in Gaza. This, as the German publication Bild exposed that many photos of starving Gazans have been staged, a report cited by Israeli President Isaac Herzog.
We see a PR campaign like this one. This is from yesterday by German media. You see a photographer staging Gaza people to show that they are lacking food, whilst there's food there behind them. But this is a staging effort.
I saw the report by Bild, and I wasn't surprised. I've seen this for 15, 20 years of Gazan or otherwise Palestinian photographers, some of them working for reputable news agencies like Reuters, AFP, AP, and many others. They doctor images, they orchestrate them, and the term Gaza wood or Pallywood wasn't invented this war. It's something that has been going on for decades, if not more than a generation. The Palestinians are really masterful at not only fabricating visuals and imagery, but also knowing who to peddle it to and to find the useful and lazy idiots in international media to use it and then to shape hearts and minds and even get real-world results.
Gaza wood or Pollywood refers to how Hamas and others stage scenes to manipulate the media.
Sadly, Hamas is manipulating international media. Really, they have them around their little finger, feeding them, baked stories and cooked images.
Currently, we also have now this campaign called Starvation in Gaza. How would you describe the way the media has reported on this campaign?
Well, they've certainly tried to prove this point of view that they have, and it's not true. There is food in Gaza. You can go into a market right now, you can go to a cafe, you can buy food. Israel's made sure that there's more food in Gaza than there was before the October 7th attacks. And Israel has given an unprecedented amount of food and aid to an enemy population in the history of mankind on this earth. And yet the media has proceeded with this campaign. In doing so, they've emboldened Hamas, they've emboldened terrorism around the world, and they've unfortunately prolonged this war that could have ended by now.
And Chris Mitchell joins us now with more from Jerusalem. So, Chris, it sounds like this could be a key turning point for Israel in its war against Hamas. How does the Israeli government see it?
Well, I think they do say it's really at a crossroads. Either they're going to capitulate, as Conricus points out, to international pressure, or they're going to keep going despite that pressure. The support of the United States will be key going forward, the most powerful ally in the world, to fight what Conricus is describing as a just war after October 7th. Yesterday, Ephraim, I visited Kfar Aza. That was the scene of one of the worst attacks on the kibbutzim on the Gaza border, and also the site of the Nova Music Festival. That's where more than 300, nearly 400 people were slaughtered in a massacre. And that's a stark reminder of why Israel is fighting this war, to eradicate their military infrastructure of Hamas so it won't threaten Israel ever again. And since they've discovered when the war began, really the terror base of Gaza was the biggest terror base in the world, with hundreds of miles of tunnels, thousands of rockets and weapons.
Okay, there you go. Well, things are heating up and starting to tighten up, so we'll keep you posted as we're going down the road here. Let's check out the weather.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Building high pressure will bring warm and dry conditions, so today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny skies with daytime highs in the mid-70s for Vancouver and Portland, and upper 70s in Wilsonville and McMinnville. Continuing down the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny with daytime high temperatures near 79 for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis. Cloudy in Eugene, then gradual clearing with a high near 81. Into central Oregon, becoming sunny with a high in the upper 70s for Prineville. Mostly sunny with highs in the mid-70s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, sunny with a high in the mid-80s. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog, then mostly sunny and breezy in low 70s in Coos Bay. Mostly sunny and breezy from Port Orford with a high near 66, through Brookings near 57, and Crescent City, California near 67. In southern Oregon, mostly sunny for the Rogue Valley with daytime high temperatures in the upper 80s for Grants Pass and Medford and mid-80s in Ashland. Sunny in the Klamath Basin with highs in the low to mid-80s. Into northern California, sunny with highs in the mid to upper 80s around Wairika. Sunny and hot from Redding with a high near 99, through Chico near 97, and Sacramento near 96 with a light southwest wind. In the Bay Area, becoming sunny with daytime highs near 87 in Santa Rosa and 83 in Napa. Mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high in the low 70s and a southwest wind gusting up to 22 miles per hour. And today in San Jose, sunny and near 85. A snapshot of your Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
And a beautiful shot of our southern Oregon Valley this morning, and got some clouds over the top that's really giving our sky a beautiful scene, kind of a texture to the sky this morning. So absolutely pretty, but it's high and dry. Be careful out there.
All right. Well, she was named the Woman Motorist of the Year by AAA, and her first most noteworthy automotive achievement happened on this day in history.
On August 7th, 1909, a 22-year-old homemaker named Alice Ramsey made history, becoming the first woman to drive coast to coast across the United States. With 3 female companions, none of whom could drive, Ramsey left New York in a green Maxwell 30 touring car and arrived in San Francisco 59 days later. The journey covered 3,800 miles with barely any paved roads, no maps, and almost no road signs. The women mostly navigated by following the telephone poles with the most wires in hopes they would lead to a town. They dodged horses, fixed dozens of tire blowouts, and even crossed rivers without bridges, proving that grit and curiosity could go a long, long way. At a time when few women even held driver's licenses, Ramsey's trip shattered expectations and paved the way, literally and figuratively, for generations of female motorists and adventurers. She would go on to drive the route more than 30 times, but in 1909, she was just a young woman with a big idea and the guts to go for it.
You don't think of some of the logistical issues of traveling cross country at that time. She had to change and fix dozens of blown tires. You know, tires were not quite the same as what we have now.
And how much fuel did she carry?
How much what?
Fuel.
I don't know. That's a great question. She had 3 passengers, none of which could drive. So she was the only driver in a car full of people. At least they had conversation going on.
Well, and there was no windshield.
Right, right. And they followed the telephone poles with the most wires. Did you know that we've all heard the term, you live out in the sticks? You know, that means very, out in the country. You know where that came from?
The poles?
Telephone poles. Vaudevillians, when the vaudeville actors were traveling from town to town, they would follow these roads, and it would be telephone poles would tell them that's the only reason we're going this way is because there has to be a town over here.
Yeah.
They followed the sticks. You lived way out in the sticks.
You live way out in the sticks.
That's where I live.
All right, good morning to you. Well, there's a ministry entitled Help the Persecuted. And on this clip, they help a baker in Egypt who helped persecuted Christians escape Sudan.
The Bakery of Blessing in Egypt is a blessing not just for the couple who fled persecution in Sudan, but also every one of their customers. As they sell physical bread, they share the bread of life, the hope of Jesus Christ. When Bilal converted from Islam to Christianity, his family threatened to kill him if he didn't forsake Christ. He was forced to flee Sudan with his wife and 2 children because he refused to give up his faith in the Lord. When the family arrived in Egypt to start a new life, they had nothing. But then, because of your support, our field ministers met Bilal and heard his story. Through our Enduring Livelihood ministry, we came alongside them and helped them start their own bakery making Sudanese bread. Bilal says being able to support his own family has changed everything for him.
I have so much joy because of this bakery. Jesus heard our prayers, and through your support, we have a decent living. We had nothing, and the war stole everything. But this bakery gave us back our dignity. I am able to feed my family now. I thank the Lord for His mercy and grace.
Bilal is passionate about sharing the love of Jesus with every customer who comes to buy bread.
Anyone who comes forward telling me they have no money, I tell them that I had nothing either. But when I met Christ, He gave me everything through grace. I give them bread and I share a verse from the Bible. I keep encouraging others to read the Bible when they go home. I tell them that they will encounter grace in their lives when they meet with Christ. It is life-changing.
At Help the Persecuted, we are committed to rescuing, restoring, and rebuilding the lives of many more persecuted Sudanese Christians like Bilal, who have given up everything to follow Christ.
Wow.
Well, that's just terrific. All right, 14 minutes before the hour. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Put your gold in an envelope, mail it. Hopefully you get a check. No. Father and son jewelry, bring your gold in, we weigh it, we check it, we make you the offer.
Or turn your something old into something new. Whether it's an idea, a picture, or a piece you want to duplicate, we can melt it down and make it for you.
If you find your perfect piece in store, trade your something old for something new, and you always get a little extra.
Visit Father and Son Jewelry, 5 generations of family in Medford.
Mornings on the Dove is unlike anything you'll experience. Not only will we fulfill our goal to bring you encouragement, but we'll also fulfill our goal in bringing you information that you need.
I think the biggest thing that we are hoping to accomplish in the morning show and bring to the viewers is hope. As we look at the events that are swirling around us, seemingly at times that are way beyond our control, we look to the hope that we have in Jesus Christ and what He has given for us.
We select the top stories. We try to make you informed so you're a good citizen to start your day. But most of all, to give you the encouragement so that you can have a good day and a happy day.
We seem to have a lot of fun on camera because we are having a lot of fun on camera. We have a great rapport. We go back and forth. Perry's like one of the funniest guys I've ever seen.
Wake up to hope. Watch Mornings on the Dove, weekdays only on the Dove TV.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
All right, welcome back. 12 minutes before the hour. Well, a couple of people I miss, because sometimes you can't look back, but you do.
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan was terrific.
Yeah.
And yes, I did. I met him one time when he was president, but I met him several times when he was governor because I worked at the television station.
Yeah.
He'd come in the studio all the time there in Sacramento. But anyway, his speeches, he was a great and he edited all of his own speeches.
Right.
And he wore a contact in one eye, not in the other.
Oh, mono. Yeah.
One was for reading, the other one was for looking.
Mono a mono.
Yeah. So anyway, but he was speaking in '83 to a group of religious leaders, and he was asked the question about abortion, and here was his answer.
The Constitution protects life, liberty, and so forth. And all we need to do, I think, is demand that someone either prove to us that the unborn is not a living being, or then recognize that it is already entitled to constitutional protection. And we have such dichotomy in the law. Just recently, there was a man arrested in Virginia. He has been tried for believe it or not, feticide. Now what happened? He was robbing a public place, and a woman evidenced that a young lady that she perhaps recognized him, and he shot her in cold blood. He wounded her but killed the baby that she was carrying. Now, under the law, he is now arrested, not charged with wounding her, charged with killing the unborn child. Now, how can we rule that she could have killed the unborn child if she wanted to? And it was called abortion. And I know in our own state of California that there was a case where a man beat his common law wife so severely that her unborn child was killed. And the legislature of California, some years ago, unanimously and almost instantaneously passed a law that anyone who maltreats a woman with child to the extent of causing the death of the unborn child shall be tried for murder. Now, if it's murder, then it's murder all the way. And
you argue that logic. I mean, that is so right on. And I actually had that conversation with a friend, a family member actually, who supports abortion. And I mentioned this, that, you know, what about somebody who murders a pregnant woman and is charged with the death of two people, the baby and she says, well, that's basically because she was in late term. I was like, well, wait a minute. You guys want no restrictions on abortion. You can abort the day that you're due. And what's more late term than that? So the logic is convoluted on this. I don't think oftentimes people really engage their brain and think deeply about this issue.
No, they don't. It's very emotional, like everything else has been. It's been dealt with through emotion. But I think he makes a very strong point.
Oh, absolutely.
But here's the strongest of the. Well, they're all strong points, but here's one that's. He asks a question that nobody's answered. Nobody's proven that life in the womb is not a human being.
Right.
Science cannot prove that it doesn't exist.
Right.
Now they'll argue, well, it's the beginning of something. It's the beginning of life. It's the beginning
mass of tissue of cells.
Yeah. So it's the beginning of the life of a human being. Okay. So nobody can disprove that. And it's been carried over into all the gender confusion issues that we have today. That nobody who has transitioned from male to female has been proven that they have fully become a female.
Well, and you can prove that they haven't become female because after you die and they check your bones and they check your DNA, they can say this was a male or this was a female.
Well, that's
it's easy.
So what it is, it's this barrage against the creation of man, which is in the likeness and image of God. It's an offense to God, obviously. But I don't know why we are in love with killing babies. I say that rhetorically because it's gone back to the states now, and of all the money that's been spent on pro-life movements in the state of Oregon, we're still number 50.
Oh gosh!
In lack of restrictions.
Oh my gosh!
So you kind of go, wow. Have we changed any hearts? You know. So it has to be a game changer when you are advancing people into public service.
Yeah.
Because if they don't value human life, and human life is negotiable at any stage of development, then that person is negotiable in any other situation in life. If they can't be trusted with the unborn soul in a womb, how in the world can you trust them with public service?
Yeah, amen.
They are bought out people.
Absolutely.
And you need to put that in your head when you're voting.
Right.
So that's my 2 cents.
All right.
Ain't worth much.
Okay, well, it is, yeah. Well, there are a lot of interesting ways to raise money. Fundraisers these days can get very creative, but here is one of the most unusual.
YouTuber Ryan Trahan just raised $11.5 million for St. Jude Children's Hospital, and he did it by traveling across America in one of the most unique fundraisers ever. Over 50 days, he visited 50 states, staying in the coolest Airbnb he could find, From a treehouse and a cave to a castle, a barn, a missile silo, even a giant potato. Each day brought a new adventure and a new video watched by millions. His wife joined him, cakes were eaten to mark every million raised, and 42,000 people donated, along with major sponsors like Airbnb, T-Mobile, and Mr. Beast. The journey ended on a private villa in Hawaii, but the top pick? The Treetopia Treehouse in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. It's a strange kind of fundraiser, but proof that today's technology can turn creativity, community, and clicks into something powerful.
It is pretty neat.
Yeah, 50 states in 50 days.
All right, I'm waiting for you to incorporate that hairdo. It's a new trend where the guys have the big bush in the big bush.
Hey, by the way, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen, man.
All right, take with you 1 John chapter 1, verse 9. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. Take time to just kind of confess it and watch your life change. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
At Kelly's Automotive Service,
being good stewards of what God has entrusted to us
is at the core of our business.
We believe what we do matters.
Every interaction, every transaction is another opportunity
to bring Christ's values into the marketplace.
If you're a technician who wants to be part of something bigger,
or just looking for a new shop to bring your vehicle,
we would love to meet you.
We're Kelly's Automotive Service,
where we service your vehicle,
but take care of you.
Welcome home to the Dove, an encouraging place, an informative place, a safe network for your entire family.
Welcome home to the Dove.
The Dove Network, broadcasting and streaming reliable, trustworthy news and information with Mornings on the Dove, Focus Today, and other programming to stay connected.
Welcome home to the Dove TV, radio, and the Dove.us.
The Dove, encouraging and informative. You are welcome here.
Hi, I'm Bayless Conlon. In life, we all face uncertainty, whether it's financial troubles, relationship valleys, a health crisis, or just trying to discover your purpose. One thing is for certain, God sees you. He loves you, and no matter what you're facing, He has the answers.
Get Answers with Bayless Conley, Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative. You're watching the Dove TV, encouraging and informative for Monterey and the Central California coast. Seen on Channel 14 and these Dove TV affiliates.
Well, welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and of course, in the news, there's a lot about lawfare, what is it, how it goes about, and this president that has certainly been a victim of it in so many ways. And what happened at Mar-a-Lago with the raid. No president has ever had his personal residence raided like that. We are so honored today to have really a very special guest. Christina Bobb is with us. She's an attorney with Washington, D.C., former TV host and author of Defiant, Inside Mar-a-Lago Raid and the Left's Ongoing Lawfare. There's a picture of the cover of the book. She began her legal career in the United States Marine Corps. Following her military service, she transitioned to private practice, and after the 2020 election, she joined President Donald J. Trump's legal team to focus on election integrity for the 2024 election. And during 2024 election cycle, she joined the Republican National Committee Election Integrity Section and Senior Counsel to ensure the Trump victory. She does have a website, ChristinaBobb, BOBB.com. And there's a picture of the landing page. Christina, such an honor to have you. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Great. Where are you? Where are you?
I'm in Washington, D.C.
Okay, good to see you. Boy, so much to talk to you, so little time. So, you were there.
Have me back. I'd love to come back.
Yeah, come on out to Oregon. We'll show you a good time.
I love that.
Okay, you were there at Mar-a-Lago during the raid. I can't even imagine. Tell us about that, and then we'll get into the details legally. But how did you process that?
It was a shock. I mean, I can't say more than that is what you would expect. Why on earth is this happening? So I was the custodian of records for the documents at Mar-a-Lago. And so I met with President Trump's defense team as well as the DOJ and the FBI prior to the raid, about 2 months before the raid. We had no idea this was coming. Nobody had any indication that there was really anything wrong. We had been incredibly cooperative. And so the book takes everybody through that. I give you the text messages, the emails, the timeline, all of that, everything that went down between that initial communication with them and then ultimately through the raid and all the horrible aftermath. But there was absolutely no reason for it. I don't believe they had probable cause. I think they basically lied to the judge, left a lot of information out when they asked the magistrate. The magistrate was also conflicted out. He had just weeks before said that he was conflicted and couldn't preside over a Donald Trump case because it was Trump v. Hillary, and he was a Hillary supporter, and he didn't think he could be unbiased. So this thing reached to high heaven from the beginning, and the story that the media told you and led you to believe that Donald Trump had somehow done something wrong and that this was appropriate is completely false.
Where were you during the raid?
I was, for the most part, they made me stand pretty much in the circle drive. I don't know if you've seen like the aerial shots of Mar-a-Lago, but you've got the main ballroom, and then you have kind of like a circle drive area, and then there's the smaller room off the side. I was out there and hanging out by the ballroom in the shade because they would not allow me inside. They would not allow me to view what they were doing. So I would have to communicate with them when they came to speak with me, not because I was there, while they were working on the documents.
How much of a personal violation was this?
Egregious. Absolutely egregious. Not just for Donald Trump. I mean, of course, for Donald Trump and the Trump family and everyone, that lives at Mar-a-Lago, it was horrible. But I can't help but feel that it was a violation of all of us because they have no respect, no regard for the Fourth Amendment, no respect for constitutional norms. And they basically were saying they were daring us, the American people, to try to thwart them, to try to stop their power, to try to overrule them, knowing that they were in control of the federal government. It was the most egregious affront to the American people I've ever seen. Upon entry, did they present warrants or anything? Or do they just, the stories we hear, they come in, with guns and everything, but don't they have to present legal document that they're doing this? They sure do, and they made me fight them for it. I was demanding a copy of the warrant at the beginning, and we had an argument in the beginning because they didn't want to show me the warrant. They ultimately did. Then they gave me a copy of it at the end when it was all over, but I had to fight them for it. They did not want to show me the warrant. They just wanted to roll up and do whatever they wanted and leave with no accountability whatsoever. So the amount of arrogance that they displayed was astonishing. It was just criminal what they were doing. And they were looking for what? That's the $1 million question, isn't it? There's a lot of speculation on that. All of it could be true. At the end of the day, they were looking for a reason to get rid of Donald Trump, whether it was the Crossfire Hurricane documents. I've heard very good rationale that that's what they were looking for, and that very well may be part of the case. But at the end of the day, what I know for certain is that it was a fishing expedition to try to get Donald Trump. And I think it's worth pointing out that a lot of people forget the original grand jury was in Washington, D.C. This Mar-a-Lago case was not originally in Florida. They didn't want to bring it in Florida. They wanted to bring it in Washington, D.C., where they knew they could get a conviction, where they could manufacture an outcome, and they could get rid of Donald Trump once and for all. And they couldn't even do that. They could not get a conviction. And so I take you through all that. I ended up, the whole thing, the lawfare that was thrown at all of us. President Trump obviously got the brunt of it, and he was the main show. But they came after everyday Americans. They came after me. I was investigated by anybody and everybody you could think of. Ultimately, for unrelated issues, getting indicted in the state of Arizona. Here's my mugshot, which that indictment has been thrown out, but still fighting the case. I mean, the amount of lawfare that they waged on normal everyday Americans that didn't make the media because they didn't want you to hear about it. And those cases are still open, by the way. People are crying right now saying, oh, well, Donald Trump shouldn't be prosecuting his political opponents because of this potential grand jury in Florida. They're still doing it. There's still about 60 of us who are currently in ongoing cases being prosecuted by Democrats for completely bogus charges. So if they want to say, stop, okay, you go first.
All right, before I leave Mar-a-Lago, what they seized, at the end of the day, did you, President Trump, have anything illegal inside Mar-a-Lago?
No, nothing whatsoever, which is why they had to move the grand jury to Florida, because they were hoping to bring like an espionage type charge, kind of like the Hillary Clinton email scandal. They wanted to bring something like that in Washington, D.C., and there was nothing illegal. So they ended up having to move the case down to Florida and say, oh, he wasn't supposed to have classified material, which also is not true and not in accordance with the law. The Presidential Records Act is very clear that Donald Trump was lawfully in possession of everything that he had. There was no illegal activity whatsoever. So they moved it to Florida and brought an obstruction of justice charge, basically saying that Donald Trump was obstructing their investigation that never should have been opened in the first place.
Some have said that this invasion at Mar-a-Lago was kind of like the anchoring point for the Trumps to go for re-election. Do you think so?
I don't know if it was the anchor, but it certainly helped. I mean, in the worst possible way. I think Americans saw it and said, this is horrible. I don't like this. And I do believe that was the beginning of some on the left to start thinking critically, going, you know what, maybe I don't like what the left is doing. So I definitely think that it had a large role in that. Whether it was the beginning or the anchor, I don't know, but it certainly played a large role.
Is there any possible restitution for this wrongdoing?
I hope so. I really hope so, because I was severely damaged by it. And I know a lot of other people. I have friends who lost their homes over it. It was really, really bad. And then the American people just having to go through it themselves. So I think this grand jury investigation in Florida that Pam Bondi is opening or starting, authorized, I think that's the beginning of it. And then we have to see what the evidence says and where it leads. But 100%, I mean, they hurt a lot of people. They hurt our nation. They hurt our reputation. They hurt the justice system. People are concerned that do we even have fair trials anymore? Do we have a fair justice system? That's a big question mark for a lot of people. So yeah, they absolutely need to pay for it.
Okay, it is for me as well, and I want to go there. But let me just ask you this. Now that the grand jury is being assembled, doesn't that change everything? Because grand juries' purpose and goal is different than just somebody filing a suit.
Yeah, 100%. This is criminal. It is a criminal investigation. The fact that they've opened a grand jury means that they have what they believe to be probable cause, and it will be for the grand jury to determine if there is probable cause to indict somebody. And then once they get an indictment, it's off to the races. You've got criminal cases. So grand jury is very, very serious. And the bar is very low, meaning it is not hard to get an indictment out of a grand jury. I know I was indicted, but but the bar is very, very low. And so I expect this to go pretty quickly because I think they're eager to get to some criminal cases.
Is there a statute of limitations involved here?
There's almost always a statute of limitation. I don't think it's in effect here because it's an ongoing conspiracy. I mean, it's the conspiracy that they originally started in 2016 that went through, the Russia hoax, the Mueller report, the Ukraine hoax, the Ukraine impeachment, then on to January 6th. I mean, it's ongoing. The January 6th hoax didn't even end until the end of 2024 after Donald Trump got elected a second time because Jack Smith was still playing with it. So they have not stopped. So, no, I don't think there's an issue with statute of limitations at all.
As you look back on this, who were the main players that called for this invasion?
Well, that's something that Kash Patel will have to reveal because I don't have the emails, but I know that there were people that were involved in the Russia hoax. There were people that were involved in all the way back from Paul Manafort's prosecution way back when. Some of the same people were involved. And so I don't want to, accuse anybody of anything without the FBI or DOJ doing it first. But I do suspect to see some of the same players that were involved in the original Russia collusion type situation while Barack Obama was still in office. Some of those folks I met with at Mar-a-Lago. Some of those folks were involved in the raid. So they should be nervous.
One other quick question, Christina, before I take a break. What does it say to you when this president has been attacked at every level, yeah. From a bullet to Mar-a-Lago to injunctions everywhere? I mean, you know the list. And he's still standing, and he got reelected. What does that? What does that tell you? It tells me a few things. Certainly that the American people want change. This is the move of the American people. But clearly, I think he's got divine protection. I don't know how anyone gets shot in the head and survives and becomes president. And my own little story, I see, I feel like I was divinely protected because of, in the course of 3 years, I had 9 legal cases against me in one way or another in 3 short years, and I have survived all of them. I'm still waiting for Arizona to close out, but it will. I don't see any other way than the hand of God. I understand that, and I was going to ask you how your faith sustained you, and you can answer that. But has the divine intervention in protecting President Trump from a bullet changed him?
I don't know how it wouldn't. Yeah, I think it's very humbling, and I think President Trump absolutely. He has acknowledged that it caused him to do some real serious reflecting, and I think it solidified for him that he was on the right path, that he needed to do this, that he's called to do this. So yeah, I think it was very moving for him.
Do you sense not only this divine protection, but do you sense a divine purpose in what you're doing?
I hope so. Like most people, I'm trying. I can't guarantee I'm getting it right, but I think so. I do my best to try to follow the right purpose and figure out what the Lord has planned for me. And I absolutely use my faith and pray and try to do exactly what God has ordained for me. I hope I get it right. I think I get it right. The fact that I'm still standing leads me to believe I got at least part of it right. But I want to be very careful not to say that God has called me to do exactly this, because I think if most of us are honest, we're not always right.
Right.
So I'm trying. I can say that.
That's a beautiful answer. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, I got to take a quick break. Check out her book. It's called Defiant: Inside Mar-a-Lago and the Left's Ongoing Lawfare. There's a picture of the book, Christina Bobb, and then she has a website, ChristinaBobb.com, and there's a picture of her landing page. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express, breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Looking for an all-inclusive experience? Take an unforgettable ride along the wild and scenic Rogue River with Hellgate's high-speed spins, stunning Rogue River scenery, and incredible wildlife. Then, kick back and relax with our all-you-can-eat brunch or dinner at the Hellgate River Lodge. Whether it's family fun, a weekend with friends, or a romantic trip for two, Hellgate makes it easy to turn a wild ride into a local's vacation. Book your adventure now at hellgate.com. Hellgate Jet Boat Excursions, where adventure runs wild.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
You feel most alive where you feel most at home. And this is living. Bobcat, the company that changed the way the world works, is coming home with a quality compact tractor built to match your quality of life. This isn't work you have to do. It's work you get to do. So get it done in a tractor that's all you. See your dealer or visit bobcat.com.
Looking for the perfect RV adventure?
Team Toner's got you covered from homes to homes on wheels.
Discover unbeatable deals only at American RV in Southern Oregon.
Okay, welcome back. What an honor to have with us Christina Bobb. She's an attorney there in Washington, D.C., former TV host, and the author of a fascinating read, Defiant, Inside Mar-a-Lago Raid and the Left's Ongoing Lawfare. There's a picture of the cover of the book. She was there at Mar-a-Lago. She's worked with President Trump. Her background is amazing, and she herself is fighting off lawfare and slowly winning. She does have a website, ChristinaBobb.com, and there's a picture of the landing page. Christina, again, thank you for your time. This is so fascinating. I'm kind of curious, given your experience and your background, there's something that's happening in addition to lawfare that really concerns me. And that is the cynical attitude that we have, oh, well, they'll never be held accountable.
Yeah.
I understand that could be hidden in red, blue versus blue, left and right. I understand all that. But really what's at stake here is the integrity of our law. If somebody is not held accountable and, oh, well, they'll never be caught or they'll never serve time, where does that leave your profession?
Yeah, no, my profession is in dire straits at the moment. I make no qualms about that. But no, if I may be so bold, I would say that's a really lazy attitude from many Americans. And most of the Americans that I talk to, and I worked for President Trump's campaign, I worked at the RNC, I traveled all over the country, I talked to folks all over in every state, talked to grassroots on the ground. So I've talked to a lot of Americans about what's happening. And the ones that I see who say that, oh, well, there's nothing I can do about it, most of them aren't trying to do anything about it anyway. Mm-hmm. The people that I talk to that are working really hard, that are knocking on doors and signing petitions and emailing their senators and emailing their legislators and calling their governors and trying to make a difference, they don't say that. And so, I want to be careful, not trying to offend any viewers, but ask yourself, if that's the way you feel about it, ask yourself, have you tried anything? Have you tried to make a difference? Mm-hmm. And if you can't honestly point to something saying that you've tried and, oh, it doesn't do any good, okay, well, then sit and watch the rest of us work at it. But I think it's a lazy attitude. I also think the Lord can save by many or by few, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you're scared and want to go home, just like the story of Gideon, then go home. But don't pretend like it can't happen.
Yeah, the seriousness of what's being investigated now, even some of it that has gone on to a grand jury, is the old saying is a grand jury can indict a ham sandwich. So as serious as these crimes are, you would think there's going to be some charges here, and it could mean big name people, but they shouldn't be excused because they're big name people.
I think that's the point of the grand jury. I don't expect them to go after the little guys. I think they expect them to go after the people who coordinated this and started this from the beginning. So, yeah, I do expect to see some indictments come down relatively quickly. I mean, like in a matter of months. This isn't going to be a grand jury that sits around for 2 years, and then doesn't really do anything. I think they have what they need to get the indictments that they want and then move forward with the prosecution. And I do expect it to be the folks at the top, the Hillary Clintons, the Barack Obamas. I don't have the evidence. They have the evidence. So I don't want to accuse anybody before we see what happens. But I expect them to be some really big names.
As a former member of the RNC myself, not anymore, but I was.
From Abraham Lincoln until they instituted mail-in ballots in 1987. So the entire existence of the state of Oregon, from Abraham Lincoln until 1987, when you switched over to mail-in ballots, you had only voted for 4 Democrat presidents. A couple of them multiple times, but there were only 4 Democrat presidents that the state of Oregon voted for in any election. And then after you instituted mail-in ballots, a Republican has never won the state.
That's an amazing statistic.
It's crazy. There's a website for it. You can see the graph. It's bananas.
Why haven't some of these bad attorneys not been disbarred?
Because they're too busy disbarring the good ones. That's a very serious problem we have. I was subject to a bar investigation. They threatened to take my license. Thankfully, they didn't. I was found to have no misconduct, which again, I believe is the grace of God. But we have a very serious problem within the legal community, whether it's the American Bar Association or all of these state bars. They have become political arms, and Democrats have really weaponized these bar associations. And so liberals can get away with bringing fake charges. They can do whatever they want with impunity, but conservatives are getting disbarred when they have immunity from it. So Jeff Clark, I don't know if you've heard this, but Jeff Clark, just a few weeks ago, I think it was less than a month ago, Jeff Clark, who was the DOJ official who was supporting Donald Trump while Donald Trump was president, and conversing with him about the problem that was going on with the 2020 election between November and January 6th. Jeff Clark was the senior advisor because Bill Barr, the attorney general, had basically abandoned ship and wasn't doing anything. So Jeff Clark was then the most senior official who was advising the president on law enforcement procedures. They just disbarred him for that like a month ago. And the Supreme Court ruling in the Trump case said that any DOJ official is immune from prosecution because of it's basically an executive privilege. It's an immunity because they have the right to be discussing these things to make sure they get to the right conclusion. And the DC bar didn't care. They were just like, yeah, well, we're going to disbar him anyway. And they did.
Can that be challenged?
Yeah, but he's got to hope that the Supreme Court takes it. He can go through the Court of Appeals, which is going to support the DC bar. And then after that, because it's DC, you have to go to the Supreme Court. Is the United States Supreme Court going to worry about his bar claim? I don't know.
Is this lawfare starting to fall apart, or is just in a low moment?
I think it's both. I think they're using it's the biggest weapon and probably the only real weapon that they have right now. They still have the media a little bit, but thanks to alternative sources, people can get information other places. So the media is not as big of a weapon as it used to be for them. So they're really relying on the courts. So they're using it heavily. It's also being abused, and people are recognizing that it's being abused. So it's kind of falling apart. They're trying to save it. And I don't know which way it's going to fall. I hope that we're able to recover it. I think so much of it depends on what Pam Bondi does in Florida. But that's kind of what we're waiting to see. The bread is falling, and we're waiting to see if it lands jelly side up or not. I don't know. We'll watch.
So far, everything that's been thrown at the president hasn't stuck. When it gets to up to the Court of Appeals, he slowly wins these things. He's also a guy that if he hits you, or if you hit him, he's going to hit you harder. I don't know if he owns his own law firm and you're a part of it, but it's amazing to me that he can respond.
Kind of, not really, but like he should.
But I mean, he can respond with legal challenges so quickly, and that's probably one reason why he's done so well. But I was really taken by what happened to him in New York. They came at him with every legal level possible, and none of it stuck. What does that tell you?
Right. Well, it tells you that the system is rigged. And that's, unfortunately, to the point that you were making earlier, that's the problem, is now Americans are concerned that we can't go to court and get justice, whether we're the defendant or the plaintiff. How do we get justice? And so the courts have been exposed as being unfair. And I look at the Supreme Court saying, ultimately, you're responsible for this, Supreme Court and Chief Justice Roberts. You're responsible for the courts below you. Get them in line. And they're doing it a little bit. I'd like them to be a little heavier handed, but they're not.
Okay. One other quick legal question, Christine, and that is, as you know, these rogue district judges have been throwing all kinds of injunctions at the president, and they immediately get appealed to the appellate court, and then they get overturned. And then the Supreme Court stepped in and said, no, you got to stick closer to your district. But they're still doing it.
Yeah.
Still doing it. So it hasn't been re-challenged to the Supreme Court level. Do you expect Congress someday to redefine a district court's authority?
God, there's so much Congress needs to do that they're not doing. So they should. Yes, I'm hopeful that once we get through this, if we get through this successfully, then yeah, I think that will happen. I would also like to see Congress impeach some of these judges, because these judges shouldn't be allowed to sit on the bench when they're acting this way. But you need, 66%, 2/3 majority to convict in an impeachment. So that's unlikely unless or until we actually get a bigger percentage in the House and Senate. But yeah, it needs to happen.
Because what's so interesting here is even Supreme Court rulings that have come out that would say don't allow a district judge to do what they're doing, and yet they violated it. Not to give away money to students and student loans, and they violated it. I guess the question is, when you violate the Supreme Court, why doesn't the Supreme Court stand up and do something?
Well, that's a really good question. And part of the Supreme Court's problem is they have been tiptoeing around. They're getting better at it, but they were tiptoeing around for a while and kind of kowtowing to what the established political class wants. Don't forget, Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, also defied the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said that Texas wasn't allowed to defend its own border, and that had to be federal jurisdiction. And Greg Abbott said, I don't care, I'm defending my state. And he did it anyway, and nothing happened. So it's not only the Democrats, it's largely the Democrats that are defying the Supreme Court, but unfortunately it's falling to Republicans to have to do the same thing. So the Supreme Court needs to grow a spine and issue some serious rulings and issue some guidance and try to get the lower courts in order. And if they don't, we're in trouble. Everything is hanging by a thread right now, and a lot of it is the Supreme Court that's holding that thread. So they should grow a spine, but I think they're all scared. They're all judges that want to be liked, and they don't want to be ridiculed in the media, and they're scared.
Christina, you're inspiring. Thank you. Can we get you back sometime?
Yes, I would love that. Thank you so much.
All right, let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out our book. It's called Defiant, Inside Mar-a-Lago's Raid, and also The Left's Ongoing Lawfare. There's a picture of the cover of the book there with Christina Bobb, and then that's also her website, ChristinaBobb.com. God bless you. Thank you for your resilience and steadfastness. Look forward to talking to you again.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, God bless.
Put your gold in an envelope, mail it. Hopefully you get a check. No. Father and son jewelry, bring your gold in. We weigh it, we check it, we make you the offer.
Or turn you something old into something new. Whether it's an idea, a picture, or a piece you want to duplicate, we can melt it down and make it for you.
If you find your perfect piece in store, trade your something old for something new, and you always get a little extra.
Visit Father and Son Jewelry, 5 generations of family in Medford.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Welcome home to the Dove, an encouraging place, an informative place, a safe network for your entire family.
Welcome home to the Dove.
The Dove Network, broadcasting and streaming reliable, trustworthy news and information with Mornings on the Dove, Focus Today, and other programming to stay connected.
Welcome home to the Dove TV, radio, and the theDove.us.
The Dove, encouraging and informative. You are welcome here.
Okay, welcome back. Of course, one of the headlines is the Democratic candidate for mayor of the city of New York, Mondami. And the question is New York ready to have a full-blown socialist become mayor? Well, a lot of questions about that. I am really honored to have with us today Mary Graybar is a resident fellow at the Alexander Hamilton Institute for Studies of Western Civilization and the founder of a Dissent Professor Education Project. She taught at the college level for 20 years and recently at Emory University. And her work has been published by The Federalist, Town Hall, Front Page Magazine, City Journal, American Greatness, and Academic Questions. She is the author of several books, including the latest one, Debunking FDR, The Man and the Myths. And there's a picture of that book. Mary does have a website, Mary Graybar, GRABAR.com, and there's the picture of the landing page. Mary, thank you for your time. How are you today?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good to see you. A lot going on here. Well, Mondami, what do you think?
Well, it's time to sort of bring back the Subversives Act or something, the McCarran Act of 1950. I mean, this guy, has openly called for the abolition of private property and for the government to seize the means of production. So, I mean, this is straight out of the Communist Manifesto. I don't know how much more obvious you can get than that.
Was it a fluke election? Because I understand it was only 13% turnout.
Yeah, and I think it's, what do they call it, the stacked voting or something, where, people can vote for more than one candidate. The exact term is escaping me. But, that favors the people on the left. So Sarah Palin lost her race for, I think, she was running for Congress from Alaska. Mm-hmm. And so it's a rigged system in that way. But then, of course, he had someone else in city government who was also promoting him. So when he lost in third place, I believe. So he had the combined votes. So it is a bit rigged.
I guess the big question is he electable?
Well, it looks like it by the polls. I mean, President Trump is out there trying to promote Cuomo. And, as someone who lived through the COVID pandemic up here in upstate New York, I remember the days when he forced nursing homes to accept the senior citizens with COVID and was responsible, in my opinion, for tens of thousands of deaths, but it's hard to tell. I mean, the momentum seems to be with Mondami, as far as I can tell.
How significant was Senator Elizabeth Warren's endorsement?
Well, I think, I think it's kind of funny, but, with her base, I'm sure it helps because other Democrats have been distancing themselves. They see Mamdani rightfully as too extreme, and people, the American people as a whole, will not go for someone who espouses these communist principles, and they are communist. And we can sugarcoat it with Democratic Socialists of America and say, this is. That they're more for, democracy and so forth. But it really is a communism.
All right, before I leave the candidacy, I just one other question. Right now, it's Mamdani and you got Adams and Cuomo. Do they have a chance?
That I don't know. I mean, I certainly hope so. My personal preference would be Adams. I mean, he's had some corruption, but he didn't kill people as I think Cuomo did. I hold him responsible because he made that decision. Mm-hmm. So, I'm not a pollster, but, from what I'm reading, Mamdani still has a good chance.
All right. So when a person like Mamdani can get an endorsement from a sitting U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren, this is a clear indication that the Democratic Party is shifting even further left. They lack somebody with a middle or common sense. When you have Elizabeth Warren endorsing him, you kind of wonder who's next, and is this the spirit of the Democratic Party now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. I mean, this is, as Bernie Sanders said, the Democrats are trying, or the Democratic Socialists are trying to fulfill the agenda of Franklin Roosevelt. I mean, finish the work that he could not finish, in going into 4 terms. But this is the culmination, and I think. In order to be viable candidates, and if they think they're going to get the votes by endorsing him, I think these Democrats will.
All right, so the connection you're making there from your book, Debunking FDR, is an interesting one, but what you're basically saying is socialism being what it is, that the government is your God and will supply all your needs, that seems to be the bottom line motivation of a Marxist socialist.
Oh, absolutely. And, this was the aim of Franklin Roosevelt. I mean, and he revealed his objectives early on when he was a 29-year-old state senator from New York. And he made a speech to something called the People's Forum in Troy, New York. And he gave a little history lesson about the founders. And he said they wanted independence. And they got that, but what they were really groping for was interdependence. And so this is in 1912. 20 years later, he wins the presidential election. In his, acceptance speech, he talks about interdependence. In his inaugural address, his first inaugural address, he talks about interdependence. So he's switching things around. He's doing a little sleight of hand, with word choice and meaning, but nonetheless, he is laying out this vision of a country where the people in government make all the decisions and rule. And of course, that's what we got with the New Deal, a huge government bureaucracy that President Trump has been trying to dismantle, but it's so deeply embedded. It's a mammoth undertaking.
Do you think one of the hallmarks of the Democrats is they stick together no matter what, but they really have gone radical left? Is it splitting?
It could be, but, who is standing up for the old guard? Nancy Pelosi has retired. You've got Chuck Schumer, who's getting up there in years, but who are the people in their 30s now who are elected and running for office and gaining a lot of popularity? So it's scary because the younger people are to the far left, and they're getting supporters who are millennials and Generation Z.
Do you think that the victory of Donald Trump against all odds and attack is a signal that the American voter is shifting?
I think the country as a whole is, but we've got these blue pockets. I mean, New York State is so deep blue, that he made a dent, but I don't know if we will ever, get a Republican governor. We've got this crazy Attorney General, Letitia James, who is this radical promoter of race conspiracies and does not uphold the rule of law, subverts it. So we've got these pockets that are fighting, I think, what is sort of the general will of the country. I mean, you see that in Los Angeles with the mayor, basically, Karen Bass supporting protesters against ICE, against, federal law enforcement. So you've got these radicals in these blue areas that are going to be presenting a problem.
What will New York do? It's kind of a hypothetical in a way, or rhetorical. What will New York do if Mondani becomes mayor and most of the businesses dry up or leave?
Well, I don't know what New York will do. I mean, I think, if we get a Democrat president, I mean, there might be an appeal for federal funds. Living up here in upstate New York and having grown up in upstate New York, I know that whenever New York City gets into trouble, that people in upstate New York, the farmers, the factory workers, the real workers are asked to bail them out. And so we may have another crisis like the bankruptcy. I think it was in the 1970s. And I don't know. Of course, we had Rudy Giuliani come in and, right the ship. But we will see. The new generation is really frightening, and I've seen it.
Mary, thank you for your time. Let me share it with our viewers and listeners. Check out our website, Mary Grabar, Grabar. There's a picture of the landing page. Check out her book, Debunking FDR, The Man and the Myths. And there's a picture of the cover of the book. Where can they get the book, Mary?
Any place books are sold. Go to my website. I've got a link. Go to Amazon. Go to Regnery, which is the publisher, Barnes & Noble. You should be able to get it.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for your time. Good to see you.
Thank you.
At Rogue Hearing in Phoenix, we help you hear life again, clearly and comfortably. From expert hearing tests to custom aids and more, the team at Rogue Hearing delivers care you can trust. Rogue Hearing in Phoenix at the shops at Exit 24. Personalized hearing care right here at home.
The woman with the issue of blood came and touched the hem of the garment of Jesus. I believe that's recorded there because God cares about issues that women experience. I went to the altar every Sunday and I asked people to pray for me that I would be healed. And I knew beyond any shadow of a doubt that God could heal me. I just didn't know if he was going to.
Thursday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
They're trying to track down what and how did the auto pen of former President Joe Biden was used? And did the president ever give the order? This is serious stuff. The legacy media reporting the bombing in Iran was low effect. The sites were obliterated. They were gone. You got to ask yourself the question, why are you doing this?
News with a little bit of common sense. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays 6 to 8 a.m.
Welcome back, and I want to take a few moments and say again thank you for your continued support of this unique media ministry. We literally wouldn't be doing what we're doing if it wasn't for your prayers and support. Again, the statistic stays pretty consistent. Around 84% of the Dove's operating revenue comes from viewers and listeners just like you. And as you know, we've been talking about it for quite some time. We're right in the middle of doing a complete revamping of this building, and that's no easy task, and we had to do it because basically we moved into an airplane hangar, and we didn't modify it for that. We just moved in and started broadcasting, and now we're trying to fix it, put in proper insulation and air conditioning, and move things around to make the operation more efficient. And when you start these projects, we set aside the budget to do just about most of it, but then all of a sudden it takes on its own life. You plan one way, it goes another. You run into all kinds of challenges and things, and then in the middle of all that, the overall cost of material goes up. We ran into tariff issues, which is really something. I mean, drastic dollars in tariff fees because they kept changing. One day they're on, the next day they're off, and then that delays things. And so it's been a challenge. I was really hoping by now we'd be done with this, but we're still quite a ways away. And I just want to say thank you for your patience, and thank you for your prayers, and thank you for your support. It's been a whole lot more challenging than I thought, and the overruns are starting to get to us a little bit. So your continued support of what's happening here at the Dove is serious. Right now, you're taking a look at the picture of the switcher right in the middle of all of our construction. This piece of equipment, we were notified by the manufacturer because we've had it 11 years, is no longer being supported. And actually, we're kind of operating on borrowed time with this because that's just the switching panel. All of that is being controlled by a set of computers in a box in a rack. And now that we can't get support to it, we've actually had power supplies go out you can't replace. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm not a techie. I know just enough to be dangerous, but thank you. We had to do a little bit of an appeal and ask you to help us replace that. That new piece of equipment literally arrives today, and then we'll be going through the process of installing it. The other part is we're flipping the operation of the building, and he'll walk through here with you, but that's our control room, and all that's going to get moved. See, those guys are eating ice cream. Look at this. What? There you go. Dan's eating ice cream. Thank you, Dan. There you go. Well, you can tell it's a serious operation. Anyway, they look through the glass into the studio. But we're taking the operation away from the noisy end of the building and moving it over here to the other end of the building. We had to put in insulation in the walls and the ceiling and the doors and everything. It's been quite a deal. And he's going to walk through there here in a minute and show you this. But here we are going into where the new studio is being going to be put together. Most of the hard construction is done, but we have some minor things to do. Laying on the floor there, they started this yesterday, is pieces of metal that's going to be the new lighting grid, and that's all laying on the floor. That's going to go up in the ceiling in the next several days once they put it all together. It's like a big erector set, and they're working on it. And all that's going to go way up there and hang from up there, and that will hold the lights. Against that wall will be the new platform and things like that. So, like I said, that kind of the construction, the walls and all that, most of that is done. This is our new control room. That is done. There's no glass in the windows yet. I think that's coming today as I talk about it. And then this will be the new control room, and this is going to be really wonderful, but it's just taken time and more money than we thought. Those are our new counters sitting on the wall. They were delivered yesterday, and this will get converted into a lot of equipment over the next couple of weeks. And then from there, they'll be able to look out to where the new platform will be. So somewhere in the middle of this, we're going to have to move the studio that I'm sitting in temporarily out in that room while we finish construction because we can't have two control rooms. That's looking the other way. I don't know if you can see my hand over there. You can't see my hand. Okay. Anyway, that's where we are now. You can see that's literally a warehouse that's been converted. Actually, it's a hangar that's been converted. So I wanted to give you an update, say we're coming along. It's been a challenge. and we're dealing with all kinds of things. I'm glad I didn't set any hard dates because that would have been very disappointing. And the people working on it with us, from the electricians to the HVAC people to the people doing the sheetrock and all that, they've been wonderful. They really have been wonderful. And but we get these setbacks. It's tariffs equipment, or you can't deliver it, or this company decided they don't want to do it. And you get all these challenges. And in the meantime, in this changing world we have, some of our overruns have gotten a little stiff. And so I want to just say, again, thank you for your support. Thank you for your patience. We've had to put up with a lot of things here while we're doing, and the staff in the middle of this, we have literally sitting on top of each other while we're making this switch, and hopefully we'll get this all ironed out. But please pray for us. We got a ways to go. It's a little bit of a challenge here. We're at the end of summer. That's always a very slow time and a hard time. So if the Lord leads you to help us with a special summertime gift, great. I just want to say that we work hard to manage it carefully, and you helped us raise the funds for that new board, which will be here today. That's a whole story. When this thing's all over, we'll have an open house, and you come see it if you want to, if you live in the area. But dealing with companies today, and promises made, and then promises not kept, and then deadlines and all. It's just, I'm not saying anything that anybody that does anything in the way of remodeling or construction or advancing your company and you're depending on somebody else to deliver material and all that. I'm not sharing anything that anybody hasn't experienced before. But it's been challenging to us, and the overruns have been very, very stretching. So thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. If you've never supported the Dove, I would ask that you prayerfully consider that. The way we feel led here at the Lord is that supporting the Dove should be clearly a God-led thing for you to do. I'm pretty adamant about that you don't take from your church. We're not here to replace the church. We're here to augment the church and what your church is doing in your life. And the scripture is pretty clear that you shouldn't forsake yourself the gathering together. So hopefully you belong to a church and you support the church. A lot of our viewers and listeners are involved in ministry, and we understand that, and that's exactly where you should be. You should be involved in something outside of yourself, whether it's a parachurch ministry or a ministry inside your church. You should give of yourself and your resources there. So don't take from your church, and don't take from any other ministry that you are involved in. But if the Lord leads you to help us here, we can certainly use it, and especially right now where the overruns are starting to catch up with us on this thing. It's a little bit of a stretch. And so you can call us anytime at 541-776-5368. Or if it's easy for you and it's very safe and secure, you can go to the Dove website at theDove.us and you can support us there. But only do what the Lord is leading you to do, okay? And thank you for your support. It's been an interesting time. And when this project is done, let me just say this. None of this is opulent. All of this is practical. And we're making the switches. If you can imagine, we've been operating in a building that basically had no insulation in it, and we had no really commercial heating and air in it. And after 8 or 9 years of occupation now, that we felt like it was time for us to do that, and our board said, all right, don't move, let's fix the building, and that's what we're doing, and I don't want to move again, ever again. But the point being is that we started the project, and it's going along, and they always get to be quite the challenge along the way. But when we're done, I think you'll be surprised to see what the Lord is doing inside this building. And when we show it to you, when it's all done, it's going to be pretty interesting and pretty, I'll use the word spectacular only because it enables us to do more of what we feel like the Lord has called us to do. Our future is not only bringing you the programs that you've come to enjoy, but our future is also in developing more programs out of this facility. A lot of times what we do is we air other people's programs, and we're honored to do that. We really are. But we have some really unbelievable talent within our reach that we can bring in here and create some more programs. And that is certainly on our agenda to do that. And this move and the equipment that we're putting in to do this will enable us to do that. Nothing's fancy. but it is very practical, and it's just the way things are. So thank you. And by the way, in the devotional, let me just say this about the devotional. When you support the Dove, we send this to you. And the new ones will be in the mail here shortly because they start September 1st, and they're good for 3 months. If you've never had our devotional, thousands are reading it within our viewing area. Millions are reading it around the world. And we'll send it to you absolutely free. So pray about a special end of summer boost for us a little bit if you can. And only do what the Lord leads you to do. Call us at 541-776-5368, or you can go online at theDove.us. And I just want to say from all of us here at the Dove, thank you. Thank you for believing in, praying for, and supporting the mission of the Dove, because together we really are changing lives for good.
Since 1987, Four Seasons Nursery has been the gold standard in the green industry here in Southern Oregon. Tim Albert and his friendly staff continue to offer the best plants and most accurate knowledge to create your dream landscape. At Four Seasons Nursery on Crater Lake Avenue, you can let your imagination run wild with a huge selection of all things plant and gardening for both inside and outside